giant bomb panel for PAX Prime 2015. How's it going? Hello, hi. Yes, pump your fists. Yes. Keep it going. My name is Jeff Gerstmann. We're here. Hello. I'm joined by these guys. I've got Brad Shoemaker with me.
Hello, hi. What up? What up, PAX?
Dan Reichert is here at PAX.
Hey, folks. Got some booze, all right. Wow. I'll take the booze, I'll take it. Wow. Yeah. I got the finger, all right. Oh, Adam Boys, all right. Yeah.
I've never been so happy.
Yeah. Me too.
Controversial. Alex Navarro came out for this.
Now's when you boo. No, they like me.
Vinny Caravella is here.
Hello.
And setting down his tall can just long enough to say hello, Austin Walker is going for it.
Thank you, Katie.
Well, we made it. Yeah, it's been a crazy PAX. People make it over to the weird comedy club that we ended up renting out. Yeah, that was pretty fun. Did our show on Thursday night, and then a few shows on Friday. Yeah, we've been kind of all over the place doing that stuff. So here we are, Saturday night, and we've already talked about all that stuff from the other stuff. So you really should have gone to those. Let's take questions. No. No, it's a couple days of PAX. I've been out of the way, and video games are happening. Things are out there and about, and let's find out a little bit more about the future of video games. Before we get into this, though, actually, let's quick round of applause. How many people here think VR is total bullshit?
What?
All right. And how many people think that VR is actually like legitimately the future of things? Yeah. Now, okay, of the people who thought that VR was bullshit, how many of you have tried it? Okay, yeah. It seems like that's the thing, right? That people try it and then that sort of wins them over, unless like if you're like a Solid Snake Big Boss-esque figure with one eye, then obviously you're gonna have some issues experiencing the future of all things. Speaking of the future of all things, Austin Walker, you guys went and tried out.
Are you calling me the future of all things? That's very sweet.
Yeah, I mean, by default, as the newest member of the staff, I think you'll outlast all of us.
You are our Seth Rollins. You are the future of this business.
Man, I have to go a whole different way with my promo now. All right, yeah, I saw VR. I saw Oculus Touch this morning with Alex.
We did.
Both did. Alex, in fact, saw it before me.
Yes.
And I got to see him wail around like a maniac. It was the same demo that Dan saw back at E3 and talked about kind of exuberantly. I've never seen Dan so happy, and I've seen Dan pretty happy.
Yeah, it's the coolest thing I've ever seen at E3 in like 10 years of going to E3.
So Alex, how about describe your demo, and then I'll describe mine, which went a little differently.
Yeah, so the guy who gave the demo, who works for Oculus, I can only describe as impish in nature. He was giggling a lot during our demo, and he just seemed to be having a very, very good time, which was off-putting, but kind of also put me at ease at the same time.
Well, did you get the impression that was like legit?
We'll get there.
I couldn't say.
Something happened. Something happened.
Okay.
I'll tell you.
All right. Okay.
But so it's they put the headset on you, and you're in this room that's just like a gray mat on the floor, and it's just soundproofing in the wall. Like it looks like a rudimentary holodeck, basically. They give you the
/ kill room.
Yeah.
Was there a drain in the floor?
I mean, it might have been under the mat. I don't know. But so they give you the two touch controllers, and then just start saying like, okay, here's how you make your fingers move and all of that. And then they just start loading in different scenarios. And the first one is literally like, here are a bunch of blocks, and here are some other things to play. Here's like a tether ball to like throw at things, and here's some like gnome figures you can break if you want to. And then they kind of move it. Yes, yeah, it's like just like lawn gnomes.
Okay.
And then you can just break them.
Okay, all right, yeah. I thought you said gnome fingers, like you're reaching out and breaking someone's fingers. Like, why would you do that? Virtual reality is horrible. That's scary. No one wants...
Now that you mention it, that sounds way better.
Like a fucking VR loan shark game?
Yeah!
Like I'm gonna smash your kneecaps and break your goddamn... The juice is running!
Like, fuck this kitty bullshit. I want to go break some fingers. I want to go break some limbs.
That's all right. We are officially resigning to go start our VR company, and we are going to work on our loan shark game exclusively. Can we get funding for this? Yeah. Morpheus? All right, great. All right, awesome.
Yeah?
Terrific. Okay, so we're fully funded, and we're going to be out Q4 2016.
We'll still have a Kickstarter, though.
Yeah, so that's going to be on the press conference stage, right?
Yeah, can we launch a Kickstarter from your E3? It's first dollar. All right, great. Yes, yeah. Right.
Something.
All right.
I don't think that's how Kickstarter works.
Yeah, that's how Fig works.
Yeah. But yeah, it just kind of went from there. Like, there was a thing where I was shooting, like, I was dual fisting, like, ray guns and shooting at various targets. What?
Dual fisting?
Yeah, I was holding to...
The true dual wielding things is fisting.
Nah.
We all know this.
Nah, dual fisting.
The big difference between that and that.
Giant bombs fisting.
I mean, you're
There's
right.
a big difference between that and that. I mean, like, I don't know what you're, like... Go on.
The fisting simulator coming later.
Huge in Germany. Good. They're all downloading. Anything with simulator in the title, they just get. Fisting Sim 15 is coming out pretty soon. It also has streaming audio support, just like Euro Truck Simulator, so we're pretty excited about it. Icecast stations, Euro Dance.
But there were also these orbs that you're just like, okay, now pick this up and use both hands, drop it and break it. I would do so, and then it would just like load up an underwater environment for like 20 seconds. Or then suddenly I was like launching Roman candles in space. It was a pretty wide variety of scenarios, but all of it was basically just, here's some shit for you to fuck around with. Have fun.
Did you get the shrink ray and the grow big ray?
Yes, he made me small for a while and was like laughing maniacally at me, and it was deeply uncomfortable.
Was his voice all like modulated?
Yes, it was. It was that weird, like, I am large, giant, deep, modulated voice, and then I
Was it like
him.
Eazy-E voice? Like, now that you got the album.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, it was exactly like the Eazy-E voice.
Great.
So I had that same demo,
Yes.
except at the very beginning it broke, and it was amazing. So I suit up, right? Which I have like a whole this is a headset, but I wish it was like a whole motion capture suit. So suit up, and Alex leaves the room, and the other guy leaves the room.
I went to the other room to watch your demo happen on the video screen.
Right. And it like boots up really quick, and I can see my hands. I put on the half moon controllers, and I move my hands around. Oh, my fingers work and all that. And he's like over in the other room and like mumbling, and his sound isn't coming through to me the way it's supposed to, the way it did for Alex. And like he like flickers around the stage, like the virtual gray space for a few seconds, and he's like, oh, 1 second, and it turns black. And I am alone in that room, and I am alone in life. And I'm like peering through the empty space underneath my eyes. I'm looking, there's supposed to be a woman in that room with you, like making sure you don't like fall over and die.
Right.
And she's gone. And Alex is gone. I can vaguely hear the sound of PAX in the distance, which only makes it more terrifying.
Yeah.
Because like I'm gonna die here surrounded by people who could save me, and they'll have no idea. So eventually it boots back up, and he flickers into existence, like all like Johnny Mnemonic style, all like Max Headroom, and he's facing the other way again. And he's like, are you there? And his impishness vanishes, because like the technology he believes in has broken on him.
It is abandoned him.
Yeah, all of his giggles continue though, which only make it worse. He's like, are you there? And I'm like, yeah, I can see you, you're right in front of me. And he's like, no, stop lying. And I go, I'm touching you. And he goes, no, you're not. And I go, yes, I am. And he goes like, I'm gonna restart this 1 second. And like, that's the game I want. Like that's the thing that sold me on VR was like, that wasn't a thing that anybody like decided to do, I hope, unless they're geniuses.
Right.
Like,
That's the next level.
Sure. One out of every 5 demos makes you like have that like dream where you actually die in the dream.
Yes.
And don't wake up and
Yes.
it's like, oh, it's black and I'm dead.
like, this motherfucker isn't going to be impressed by a toy room. You better do some David Lynch shit with him.
Yep.
But like the game you want is like the game my 3.5-year-old plays, which is just like I'm touching you.
Right.
Like, no, you're not. I'm not touching you.
Well, no.
I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you.
I want the one where like I'm talking to somebody who like is in VR and is like also terrified with me in VR, who like that leans into the dystopian bullshit future we're moving into, instead of the like I'm playing with Roman candles. That stuff was fun and was cool, but it never felt as real as when like
you want
got
like
nervous.
risky VR, like scary.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like you jack in and find the world broken and you might be trapped.
Yes.
And someone else is there and you're all going.
Yeah.
It's like you have a lifeline. There is another person there you can talk to, but they keep fading in and out.
Right,
It's
and
like,
you're in the other room, Alex. You left me alone.
I did what they told me to do, man.
Yeah, exactly. That's what everyone says. They did what I did what they told me to.
So I think my favorite part of when Jeff and I, when we saw it with Dan, was being in the room with Dan, because Dan was just like swinging around like a madman, and Jeff and I are back against the wall. Like this, as like Dan is like up in our faces, not being able to see us.
And we can see TVs and kind of see what he sees, but he's just like walking around this room, and it's just like he's going fucking crazy. And we're just like,
yeah.
And yeah, that was I want that game.
Yeah.
Well, the thing I loved is that when I went into that, I did not know they had that capability up and running to where you would have another person in that virtual space with you.
Yeah.
So like when Palmer came in and said like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna run your demo," I didn't know if that just meant he was going to.
So you guys are on a first name basis now? Is that
Me and Palmer.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Time Magazine. Yeah.
Shared a moment, now
Yeah.
it's like once you've had that connection, there's no breaking it. It's like a mind meld.
I didn't know if it was just him in a room with levers and pulleys, like just making things happen in my virtual whatever the fuck was going on.
He's VR's Willy Wonka.
Yeah, so like as soon as
Well,
I put it on,
Kind
and,
of
like,
is.
Yeah,
I put on the headset and I saw that weird humanoid thing and everything. He was talking to me and I could hear in my ears. I had no idea that they had that like up and running as a thing that could happen now. And I just instantly realized, all the stuff you could do like online, like if you have family across the world or across the country or whatever, like sharing the space or whatever and seeing him move with no latency or whatever, like that's a really important part of Oculus that I had not thought about before that demo.
Yeah. Yeah, that to me, just like watching, I haven't done the demo, but like watching you do it, it was that, like, and having done other VR, I think is actually probably the key, but watching that, there was that moment of just like, oh, okay, this is what this actually means, like the kind of shared experience, weirdness. And obviously, like people have to come up with like real, that thing was like a toy box. That thing was like a demo that would ship with the gear or, would ship with the headset or something.
Yeah, like I thought it was just going to be like, oh, I'm going to throw some Frisbees at a vase or something for 10 minutes. And
it's just like bad boom blocks and your neck hurts at the end of it from wearing a thing. Yeah.
No, that made it a completely different experience, which I'm sure my enthusiasm came through when we did the bombcast. So
sure,
it's incredible. I'm glad
You
you
seemed
guys
a
saw
changed man when you came out of that thing.
Like I said, I'm easily enthused by things, but
No. What? No.
But that specific demo, more than anything I've seen in any show, it just completely blew me away.
Just tears were coming down the rift, like from the sides, and the smile, just really weeping.
That's cyberspace.
But it was the rift. It was the rift crying.
It was the rift crying for Dan. Yeah. It was actually Palmer on the other side crying.
His tears that were coming
You feel
through.
his tears. It's just got the ducts on the side of it, and it transmits.
I call him P-Luck.
Yeah, so it's P Love's tears.
Yeah, you guys are tight. Yeah. Vinny, you went to the other side of
The VR wars.
VR wars, or one of the other sides, I guess I should say.
Yeah.
7 of them now, right?
Yeah.
There are so many. So Drew and I went to go see the HTC Vive.
Yeah, HTC.
Well, HTC
Phones. Yeah. Woo. Let's call people.
So yeah, we went there, and that was the first time I had gotten that demo, and I think first time for Drew. And I think, well, here's a funny story for Brad. So we go there, and they're pressed for time because VR takes a lot of time to demo, right, for each person. So everything's always running behind. And he's like, okay, listen, we got like a ton of demos here. I'm gonna boot up my favorite ones for you guys. Are any of you guys like Dota?
Was it the secret shop?
And Brad or Drew and I are like, nah. And he's like, great, we'll take that one off. Yeah, so we didn't get to see the Dota virtual reality, which I heard was pretty cool.
I hear Roshan is in it.
Does that mean something to you?
I love that guy.
Okay. So we got some pretty cool demos. I think the ones that Drew and I did together, there's one where you're like on a boat and a big whale comes by, and that's very cool. Drew did one where he was like almost playing flight control in 3D, where he's kind of like doing flight paths for planes to land. And we both did one where you're drawing in the air. That sounds like a very VR thing. But it's actually really awesome.
It's like a very Seattle thing to me.
Just drawing in the air with
drawing
nothing?
in the air.
No Oculus or anything?
Yeah.
And that was really cool because like suddenly you realize you're not drawing in 2D. The penis you're drawing can actually come out.
It can have volume to it.
Into space, have real girth to it.
Volumetric penises.
The veins are practically pulsating.
So it's funny. So I'm in the thing.
I mean, I'm not even talking. What?
And I tell the guy beforehand. I'm like, listen, like I've kind of got like vertigo. I don't like heights. Like this has happened to me before in a couple of demos where I kind of freak out. And I'm doing the drawing one, the one in the air. And of course, I'm going through all the menus I can in the thing, right?
Yeah.
And I get to one that's like scene change. And like you're in the room. Drew, do you remember what they call it? They have like a buzzword for it.
It's like static space VR.
Yeah, so they have in the room, it's like a 15-foot room that you're supposed to walk around. That's their whole thing, right? Mm-hmm. So they simulate that room in this drawing virtual space. And I'm going through the menus in the controller. One of them is just like blank or whatever, and I click it, and suddenly you're just in outer space. The room disappears immediately, and there's like a tiny planet there. And I just like put my hands up and say, I'm done. I can't, like, like, make it go away. And like,
need an adult help.
Yeah, like seriously, like I was just drawing, and I'm like fucking around with the menus, and like everything just went away. I'm in the middle of space, which is pretty much the scariest simulation you could probably have. And I had to stop, and then I went to the next demo. And then I did like it wasn't playing Portal, but it was a demo set in the Portal universe, right? So you're in a room. Like most of these things, they want to have simulate the actual physical space that you're in, at least square footage wise, right?
Yeah.
In a room, and it's in the Portal universe, and you're doing a bunch of stuff and looking around a bunch of stuff, and then the floor starts dropping away, and like
great.
Yeah. So like you know me, like I like to see if like I can break a game or something like that, right?
You?
Yeah, sometimes. So I walk up to where the edge of the floor is, and I'm like, I'm gonna go in my head. I'm like, I'm gonna go stand where there's no floor, and I couldn't do it. Like I literally had my foot in the air, like over the thing, and I kind of just put it back down and like let's shuffle back, and like part of me was like, this is really freaking me out. And part of me was like, I kind of don't want to break this illusion either.
Yeah.
And then all the walls around you fell apart so that you're just on this like strip. And it's just a giant like portal factory where they're making those cube rooms.
Oh, right, yeah.
And I was like on my hands and knees at that point. Like, This is a great demo. This is a lot of fun. So how long do these usually go?
You're pretty backed up. Guess maybe you want to get on to the next people. I got.
Yeah, I think it looked like it was pretty busy. And then Gladys comes down. And here's the thing I didn't realize, and I think this is one of the reasons VR does not play when you watch a video. Scale is a lot different when you have the headset on.
Yeah.
So suddenly apparently Gladys is gigantic, like about the size of like 10 elephants. Head just comes right over here, and I almost fell backwards and like up against the wall, and I'm kind of shuffling away while trying not to fall off this virtual platform, and I was sweating, and it was super scary. And then I talked to Drew about his demo later, and I was like, oh, how's that airplane thing? And he was like, oh, it was awesome. Like when the airplanes come by, they're huge. And I was like, I did not get that at all from watching your demo. And I was like, dude, that Gladys thing was crazy. She was huge. And he was like, I did not get that at all from watching your demo.
Yeah.
So it was really cool. And we talked a lot with the developers about like, this is impossible to discuss. Like people who are listening right now are like, yeah, whatever, VR is, if you've tried it, maybe you have the same experience. If you didn't, it's just, you can't describe it really. It's a hard problem. And I talked, the language isn't there to talk about games like we talk about games now. Like we developed it over the years.
And also, I think in a lot of cases, I mean, there are certainly some that you look at and go, this is a product that will come out and you can buy it. And some of those have definitely been announced. But like still, a lot of these demos we're getting feel like playthings and feel like, hey, here's this really scary, creepy, fucking nasty thing we can do in VR and have the floor drop away because fuck you. And like that's that stuff is really interesting, and I want to do all of that. But at some point, you start thinking about like, well, what's the rest of what's the lineup there? What are the rest of these things start to look like?
That's what excited me about what the thing that broke for me, right? Like the rest of that demo was just a toy box, but that moment where the dude had to disconnect and reconnect felt like the Act 2 turn in a game. Where like, oh, I've been playing this game the whole time, and suddenly the thing that I thought was like it was going to work, it stopped working. Oh, VR can do this in a way that these other methods of delivering story haven't been able to. So like
a new
that was exciting.
A new type of terror.
Right.
It seems like it's
and presumably
possible.
other things, right? Like imagine if instead of that it had been like a lot of this terror. What if the end of your terrifying demo it had opened up into a huge open space that was really like it felt like beautiful and safe, and that might have given you a feeling that wouldn't happen at like in a regular game where you get to that point.
That sounds like the ultimate in terror.
Big open spaces that are sunny and bright.
Nice place. Like,
yeah. Okay. That's fair.
No, thank you.
That's fair.
I think it can make moments that would not be scary or tense at all in a normal game. It can completely change that to where like Half-Life 2 at the beginning, like I know I've said this a lot, but like the game is over 10 years old at this point. But when I played through that with the Oculus, there's that part near the beginning, like after you get the crowbar and you're just like going along that second story thing and the helicopters or whatever going above you. And it's nothing if you're just playing with the controller looking at a TV. It's like, okay, I got to shimmy along this ledge and get into that next window. And it doesn't affect you whatsoever. But when I played that with the Oculus, like it tricks your brain in a way to where it's like, oh shit, I really don't want to fall there. Like that's far down, I'm gonna die. Where it's zero if you're playing with a controller, but it's fucking terrifying.
So I feel like I haven't had that. I don't know that I've had that experience yet. Like
You haven't achieved presence.
Yeah, exactly. Like every time I've done it, it's like I don't let go. There's still some part of me that's just like, all right, here's this fake thing. And I'm gonna like run around here and do this stuff. Like there hasn't been like that type of terror or that type of fear yet associated with just simple environment or simple scale or something like that.
I think the room stuff is really cool when you can walk around in it, like in that touch demo or in the Vive one, where you're actually walking around in a space is pretty cool. Mm-hmm. The Vive was weird. So when you in virtual space approach a wall, this kind of awesome neon grid appears in the game or whatever
Perfect.
you're doing.
Great, done, sold.
Wait, so it's like a holodeck?
It's totally like you're breaking that. Like I wish you could touch it and have it ripple or something like that. And like no matter where you are, if you're about to like proximity sensor, walk into a wall, this like shimmery grid comes up, and that was pretty cool.
Patrick Klepek is in the audience staring at us like, these motherfuckers are talking about how scary VR is. I was on that shit 2.5 years ago. Preaching that. So,
but that's a different type of fear. I think like, taking the current kind of crop of horror games and translating it, that's certainly viable, and I think that, we'll see a lot of that stuff, but I think like the simple fear of
being alone?
That's plenty used to that. The simple fear of like size and presence and that sort of thing. The simple like I hope I don't fall off this stage, like that type of shit. I hope I don't fall off this stage.
Please don't.
Yeah.
And I think for me that stuff hits. It hits whatever in my brain is thinking this is real enough to trigger those same responses I have in real life. And that's scary to me because, like, if I'm glad I will not be, I don't think I will be in college again to have like VR and like be drunk and have somebody while I'm like drunk put this thing on with like a simulation of trucks coming at you and go, oh my God, Vinny! And just be like on the road of like,
that would be I'm going to be honest, that freaked me out a little bit.
Slipping a fucking headset on someone who has fallen asleep or passed out and loading that up and doing that to them sounds like the fucking best.
Or like, hey, like listen, I've spent like this whole semester I modeled our dorm room, but at the end I blew out the wall and it's just a hellscape out there. So like, all right, on 3 we wake them up and start screaming, okay? Oh my God, where is everybody? That seems like a nightmare to me.
VR is going to actually destroy some psyches along the way, isn't it? There could actually be real danger if this is used incorrectly. Right?
If it's used at all.
Yeah. That's super exciting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's unfortunate it's really exciting. So the guy we were talking to who was a dev on Drew's demo was actually a guy I believe, I'm sorry if I'm getting this wrong, who worked on Turok, because we were talking about like the early days of 3D and everybody kind of figuring that stuff out. So it was really interesting to talk to him because, you know, they didn't have dual analog sticks, right? They were mapping camera controls on those face buttons and like, what's lock-on targeting? And like we hadn't figured out the rules of navigating third-person 3D yet. And like now it seems super easy. Like now it's like everybody does the same thing. But those things in the VR space are really still getting figured out. How do you move somebody in a virtual space with a controller, like without getting sick or still feel immersed and all this stuff? What are the rules for not getting people sick in terms of frame rates and all that stuff? And I think that's super exciting, and it probably won't be all worked out. What are going to be the rules when something is too fucked up and be like, that game is causing people to actually freak out?
Yeah, like you start to think like consumer grade VR is going to need some kind of emergency punch out sequence. Like, you know, it's like just like use the Kinect just like arm out thing, or just
Like you scream a safe word and it just shuts down.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
Oklahoma.
Yeah, like there probably needs to be something like that for, especially for like more intense experiences or something like that.
So like that to me is actually, you know, in the last 15 years, probably one of the more exciting things. Whether VR takes off or not, it's a little Wild Westy, and like just remembering
in a way that like games kind of haven't necessarily been. I mean, obviously, like, you know, the indie scene is like risen up again and gotten really huge. Like there's definitely like a Wild West feel to some of that, but this is like next level like tech end of that, where it's just like we don't even know what we're doing, but we'll figure it out.
It feels like a little more of like we don't know why exactly we're doing it, but it's pretty cool, huh? And we're all like, yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Someone should buy this.
It feels like an old school hardware battle to the extent that I don't even know which one to get. You know?
Yeah.
Like, which one of these do I buy? Which one is better?
Well, and the hilarious part about that is that you talk to anyone who makes those devices, and maybe Sony accepted, and they don't even, like, they say, yeah, you should buy our device, but they don't have, like, a compelling argument against the other ones. Like, everyone's just like, yeah, you should try all these things out. You should try all this. Like, please, just pay attention to VR for the love of God.
Yeah, like, at some point, like, just the sector has to become a thing.
Yeah.
And everyone has to kind of benefit from that, I guess, a little bit. Yeah, no, I can't stop thinking about ruining lives. Like, that's...
I mean, how is that different from any other day?
Yeah.
Well, now there's technology to do
there's
it.
Like a palpable sense of like, if I just like spent some time downloading the worst Unity assets, like theoretically I could probably, if I banged on it long enough, I could probably cobble together something that at least made someone like throw up and or poop themselves. All right. That's like phase one, you know. You got to curl up into a ball thing, and then you got to figure out a way to just like virtually trigger the bad trip acid flashback state that all those burnouts get into.
Is there going to be the VR equivalent of a brown note?
I want to find out. So bad, so bad.
I kind of feel like it's different this time because when the Wii really struck gold and Nintendo made a shitload of money off that, like the next E3 was the one where it's, you know, Kevin Butler with the Move controller and the Kinect and everything, and like everyone was trying to get on board with motion controls. But I feel even with that early stuff with the Wii and everything, like nobody was coming away from that saying like, oh my God, this is the next thing, this is amazing, because the Wii stuff kind of sucked from the beginning.
It was more like you played it and you're like, this is actually super fun.
I mean, like,
this thing that I thought was going to be like complete fucking trash is actually kind of rad, and this first batch of games makes it work. And then they hand it over to third parties, and they just want to
yeah. But like
what if we put 100 party games into a party pack and put party on the box? People like to party.
Yeah, like Wii Sports was fun and it worked, but I don't think people were stepping away from those E3s when they were first showing off the Wii, saying like, this is going to fucking change everything.
Yeah, but that wasn't...
Some people totally were.
Some people probably were, but also that thing wasn't for people who went to E3. That was for your grandmother.
And it worked.
Yeah.
For that. But I think
There's
I feel like VR is going to work
huge
for people
crowds
like
of people ran to the Wii to try that stuff.
There was an 8-hour line.
The crowds at E3 definitely wanted to see the Wii.
Yeah.
And a lot of people came away from it saying, this is the real deal. Like, don't dismiss that stuff too
I'm not
much.
dismissing it. I mean, the Wii was incredibly popular. I'm just saying, like, I remember at the time when that thing came, yes, there were a lot of people playing, but there were as many people saying, this thing just seems like bullshit.
Yeah, what was your reaction to that when you first started playing the Wii? What was your first experience with the Wii controller?
I think it was probably that E3 or maybe
06?
shortly before it or something like that. Of getting a demo of that stuff, and it was literally like Wii Sports. You play that stuff, and you're like, "Oh, okay, yeah, totally, yeah, I could see doing this.
Yeah,
this works as intended. Like the thing they said that it would do, it does, and it does well.
You can bowl.
Yeah, and then you kind of you can bowl, and then you move over to some of the other games, and you're like, well, you can kind of swing a sword, I guess, sort of.
That's kind of when it fell apart for me, is that, for Wii Sports, it worked and it was fun.
Yeah.
But then, like, the same E3, they had demos of Mario Galaxy and Metroid Prime 3. And I remember
And everyone
like,
hates those games.
Yeah. Well, no. Like, Mario Galaxy is fucking amazing, but it's not because of motion controls.
Yeah, and it was like,
Not at all.
like when you look at like Zelda and stuff like that, and really the motion was reduced to basically a fancy button press.
Right.
And once they kind of started taking that approach with the motion, I think it lost a lot of the magic, right?
Yeah, which even with like Metroid Prime, it was like, oh, I get to open the door by doing this. Like, that wasn't a game changer.
No,
like,
that's
Wii Sports, it made
bad.
sense.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think what I'm learning from like the VR demos I've taken is what the best things I like about the Wii were when they had games specifically designed to take full control of the motion capabilities and not shoehorn it into an existing type of game. And I think Jeff, you've said this before. Like, I don't think you're going to want to play Call of Duty on a headset. Like, that's not the type of game you're going to want. You're going to want a whole new experience that takes advantage of that.
Yeah, and I think like there will be experiences that I think will map to some of those types of games, like at E3 playing the Morpheus demo that was the shooter, where you have like the move shell and all this other stuff, and like the big gun shell, which I have one of those. It'll be nice to maybe actually use that someday. And that was actually really cool. It just felt a little slow because everything was so big to try and like keep you from getting sick. Right. Like trying to they made everything huge scale as an attempt to do that, and like as someone who I don't know what, everyone will probably have a different threshold, but by the end of it, I was like, and it was one of those presents, like, right, there were no stakes to it. And it made shooting things way easier than it is in any other game. Because you're not like aiming with the right stick and moving your viewport around and like, I got to shoot that guy over here. It's like I'm walking, kind of looking around. It's like, oh, there are spiders. And I just keep moving. Just like shooting everything as I go. And it's like you feel like you're a raw motherfucker, like wasting fools and just like not stopping for nothing. And that's pretty neat.
Well, this is the thing with that is like we don't get there. There's the people who are like super excited about the Wii motion controls. This is the future of gaming. Like they still might have been right. You just gave us a demonstration of how dope it was to use motion controls to shoot spiders.
Yeah.
Like those people are still counting their checks because they invested in motion controls because it's coming back around.
Yeah,
But
that was maybe some of the weird stuff, and maybe part of it's probably a factor of like a lot of the Sony stuff using the same move controllers that no one used on the PS3.
But even the Oculus Touch, the Vive, these are touch things. These are motion control things.
But it was definitely that feeling of like the getaway demo of like, okay, I'm playing something that could have just been a PS3 game with 2 move controllers, but now because I'm wearing this headset, it's actually rad.
Right.
Like it was like they added the thing into it to make the motion controls make more sense. It's like the things you're doing, you could do on a TV because it's just you're aiming, which plenty of move games did that, and you're using the other one to fuck with the radio and load bullets and fuck with the radio some more and just and like on its face, like that's not a great game, but you put a headset on for that thing and all of a sudden you're like, this feels like a world now. Like this intimidating man is yelling at me to put more bullets in this gun to shoot these motherfuckers on these bikes. And like you put it all together and it works a lot better. And I just wonder like how long will that work, or will people get to a point where they're like, this is just like a bad motion control game, like the headset doesn't actually change it, or will that actually be enough to make it all work?
I think it's more exciting now because it actually works to where, I remember like Red Steel, that was a launch game for the Wii, right?
Yeah, people love Red Steel.
Yeah. And it was, it was the hardcore M-rated first-person shooter. Like that was the hardcore gamers launch game for the Wii. And like the idea of that was awesome. Like, oh, I'm gonna get in first-person sword fights and shooting and everything. But it didn't play well at all. Whereas every like first-person thing I've done with any kind of Oculus or VR thing, like that actually fucking works.
Yeah.
Like, it sounded great with Red Steel, but it didn't work.
Is it weird that I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what the really bad VR games are going to look like?
There's going to be a lot of
the
that.
really fucked up VR games.
Like, think about like just the cavalcade, just the stream of fucking dog shit that's on Steam every day.
Yep.
It's like 9,000 mobile ports and just like all this just bullshit. And you're like, I thought Greenlight was supposed to stop this. What happened? Like they just said fuck it and they're selling whatever. Like that bike game we played, the Deserter thing.
Deserter Simulator, yeah.
Deserter Simulator. Like,
Yeah.
fucking what?
It was kind of fun.
It was.
was
I
alright.
went
It
home
was
that night
alright.
and played like another hour. I played an hour of it and we're like, okay.
Yeah.
But I think we'll look back. I mean, if this stuff keeps going, which I kind of hope it does. I really do like the technology. But if it keeps going, we'll probably look back in 5 to 8 years and be like, man, those first VR games are unplayable. Like look what they did for like shooting mechanics or whatever. It was like when you look back and try and play like a 3D platformer from like the 10 years ago, or like a even first-person shooters. You know, it took Halo to bring it to the consoles and kind of be like, okay, you can do a first-person shooter on a console, and like these are the rules now. This is how things work, and I think we'll get there from really talented developers.
You're just buying into Bungie's "we invented the console first-person shooter" shit.
GoldenEye did.
Yeah,
Yeah,
GoldenEye, probably GoldenEye.
Yeah.
So you really think GoldenEye plays better than Halo?
No,
okay.
absolutely not. But I mean,
No.
in terms of just like it also
Better.
came first. Like that and Turok are like kind of important.
Right, so what I'm saying is-
important
So
bad
Turok
games.
invented the console first-person shooter.
And now it's coming back to the PC. Who can't wait for Turok and Turok 2 being reissued on the fucking PC? They're just like, the remake barrel is running dry at this point. They're like, what the fuck is left? What can we dig up that like someone liked at some point? Fucking Turok? Yeah, I guess. People fooled people with that trailer back at E3. Someone got excited for Turok. Can we license this shit for like $9?
Dinosaurs, they're huge.
Let's do Metal Gear Twin Snakes HD.
Yeah.
Remake of a remake. Well, I guess Capcom's already got the market cornered on that.
Yeah, you could probably Dennis Diak's probably not going to take on that challenge. So you could probably feed that out to Capcom now and have them put their stamp on it.
What's Dennis Diak doing?
Everything. He's behind it all. Okay. VR is just going to lead to Two Human 2. We're all going to Cyber Valhalla, and we're going tonight! The Robo Valkyrie will lift us all.
It's going to be a trilogy.
Yeah, no, exactly. When VR gets popular enough, then the sequel to Two Human will be released.
Finally.
And not until then will we be ready to experience it. Speaking of sequels, Brad, Metal Gear Solid is a video game.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure.
I'm not convinced yet.
I'll maybe go out on a limb here, even though I haven't really seen that much of the game, and say it's going to be way more of a video game than any Metal Gear Solid game to come before it.
That's probably accurate.
Yeah.
I can't say for sure yet, but yeah.
Less movie, more actual.
yeah.
In terms of just raw interactivity, and I don't count like, what if I zoomed in on the sniper lady's boobs while she was rolling around?
But what if you... No.
I'm listening.
No.
So, you got a copy of that.
I did.
Can you talk about that? What can you talk
The
about?
embargo's up.
I got a copy of that about 18 hours before I had to get on a plane to come up here,
Always perfect time.
which was less than ideal for coverage, but
so
I don't
you
know.
can talk about some part of that.
Yeah,
right?
well, hang on. Let me consult my NDA cheat sheet here
All right, let's hear about the NDA cheat sheet.
and see what I can talk about
Go
here.
down the list here.
Okay.
Can you talk about the NDA cheat sheet? Is that one of the things you were not allowed to talk about?
Oh, I didn't sign an NDA for the NDA, so I don't know.
I think only Activision and Nintendo and NDAs say don't talk about the NDA.
Okay.
From what I've seen.
Okay.
So.
Let's see here. Screenshots, no spoilers. Check mark.
Okay.
Screenshots, spoilers. There's a dash.
That's pretty specific.
Oh, I'm sorry.
stuff.
Also, this is in the before September 1st column.
Okay. Yeah.
In the after September 1st column, it's nothing but check marks.
This is like a crazy abacus.
Let's see. Live video capture is a dash. No audio.
No audio.
Okay.
Audio.
Can't talk about the ending. Can't talk about the final missions. We can talk about gameplay.
All right, gameplay. Tell me about gameplay. What is?
You sneak. You shoot.
Okay.
You crawl.
Yep.
You put on camo of various patterns.
Cardboard boxes.
Cardboard boxes, yes.
Do you have a box? Like, do you in your save file have a box?
I sent the blueprint off to R&D,
Okay.
Are there balloons?
and they came back with a compelling design.
Okay.
right.
Is it a pretty lady on the side of the box?
No, that's
What is
because this is the desert box.
Oh.
Yeah,
What is that?
D-Box.
Yes, this is the D-box.
D-Box
indeed.
is the ultimate companion.
Let's see. We can also talk about mechanics.
Mechanics? I love mechanics.
I'm not
Sometimes
sure.
my car breaks down, and what am I going to do?
Call Solid Snake.
Call Solid Snake. That motherfucker is like 4 years old or something at this point.
Right, he's not in this
gonna
game,
Fix a
sure.
car. He's got an accelerated age old enough to fix my car. He better not kill my car with his crazy, creepy virus.
He doesn't have that yet. He hasn't met Naomi.
It's true.
Mechanics. So what do? You crouch?
Yeah, I guess I feel weird talking about this game because it's not out yet, and people seem extra fucking touchy about
You crouch in
talking
Metal Gear
about
Solid
this
5
game.
Phantom Pain. Deal with
But-
it, motherfuckers.
Can I talk about it? Has anybody played?
horses, man.
Has anybody played the Phantom Pain in this audience? Yeah,
Wait, really?
One hand.
one of you guys?
No.
You guys have copies, right? Yeah.
Very stone-faced. I like it.
Did you play Ground Zeroes?
I did play Ground Zeroes.
What if you played Ground Zeroes over and over?
No.
No?
No, I didn't even want to play the side missions in Ground Zeroes. I played through the initial thing and went, well, I got those people on the chopper, and I guess I could go try to save Kojima, and then I tried to shoot him.
Yeah, what if you did save? Wait, what if you didn't?
There's no saving him. It's
That's-
beyond.
yeah, okay.
That was the thing. If enough people had done the Save Kojima mission, then he would still work at Konami. But unfortunately, not enough people did it, and they were like, well, I guess this is it. It was like the Trix rabbit, should he be able to eat Trix? Yes, no vote.
That's that man's commitment to his art.
Yeah.
He placed his career on the altar.
He said, if not enough people finish this mission, send me packing.
And you all failed him.
You failed him.
Failed.
There
It's
could have
your
been more
fault.
Metal Gear.
Yeah.
But this is all on you.
Let's see. We can talk about graphics.
Wow.
Yeah.
Are there graphics in this game? Great.
No, it's a text adventure.
That actually would be way more exciting.
Yeah.
Crouch. I just type it in.
There actually are a lot of numbers to manage, though.
There's number management.
There's a lot of management.
Yeah, because you have to build your base.
Yeah, you've got your base building stuff. You got to assign people to different departments. You know, stuff like that.
So it's like a Pokemon walker.
Something like that. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Is Pikachu like an electric tank that shoots cyber missiles?
Yes.
I guess not cyber.
Yeah,
on.
I've played about 4 hours of this game. It's hard to say too much about it because I just didn't have a lot of time to put.
Yeah. It's weird because it seemed like a lot of copies got out in Dubai or something
Yeah.
like that. Like there are like a zillion videos online
Yes.
of like all this stuff from the beginning of the game, and
Yeah.
like the end of the game is out there in various formats. And I saw some animated GIF the other day that seemed pretty disgusting, and a couple other animated GIFs that made me want to play that game way more. And, like a lot of.
Any horse poop involved?
No, I have not. No.
D-horse.
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 I didn't realize that everything was going to be D everything.
I don't know.
The D-horse and the
I just-
D-dog and all that other stuff.
D-horse
It's
is
weird.
pretty good.
Yeah. Anything else on your list?
Impressions.
So is this game any good or what?
Seems all right. I don't know.
Awesome.
Honestly, like getting it right before I came up here was like the worst possible situation because just like you, I have a need to know
Yeah.
what that fucking game is.
Right.
Like I don't even want to play it to have any fun with it. I just need to know what it is.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I long ago I lost the capacity to have fun with video games. I mean, that's why I play so much Dota. It's-
Yeah, no, there's no fun in Dota.
Right.
It's a sport.
I mean, whatever.
Playing professional sport.
Yeah, like, I actually super am looking forward to sitting down and enjoying this game, but also I just like am desperate to see, like top to bottom, like what makes this thing tick.
Yeah. Yeah.
But-
Dan, you seem like you're probably sort of excited for Metal Gear.
I enjoy the Metal Gear Solid franchise.
Yeah.
So Dan, what do you want that game to be?
Yeah, I kind of didn't expect this game to even really exist. The way 4 ended, I thought was enough of like, okay, well, it's clearly like this is the end. Everything's kind of closed off, story-wise and everything. So this is kind of just a bonus for me. Like I know Kojima's on the way out, and Konami's not going to be a company in 3 weeks or whatever. But
Not a video game company, anyway.
right, yeah, the health clubs will be doing great.
Yeah.
But
I bet there'll be like some horrible, like none of us will be quite right. They'll keep putting out console games, but it'll just be soccer,
Right.
yeah,
which is like worse than not putting out any video games.
Yeah.
Ground Zeroes was fantastic. I really liked it, and the idea of a bigger Ground Zeroes is it sounds great. Like, although the thing that always drove me to Metal Gear was the story, and everything I've heard from these reviews and everything is that it's way lighter on story, way heavier on gameplay, which would bum me out normally. But I played Ground Zeroes a billion times, and that gameplay is fantastic. Like, I'm usually not patient at all with stealth stuff, but Ground Zeroes gives you so many options. Like, just opening it up to being like a open world gives you so many different like points of entry and everything, and different modes of attack. If it's a big game of that, that sounds fantastic. And I could, even if there's not as much story, I'll take what I can get. Like, this is all a bonus since I didn't expect it to happen.
Yeah, for me, I think it was the point where actually the gameplay got good that made that work for me. Like, if it's sparse on story, but then like if it was just kind of a rough stealth game, then a rough open world stealth, but like they've put a lot of work into making the thing a more grandiose, kind of larger experience that starts to feel like if Metal Gear fucked Far Cry.
They're both good.
Yeah, which I think
that just put a dark image in my head. I'm not.
I know Metal Gear got a reputation for being very difficult to control, but like back in 2000 when they put out the Zone of the Enders demo and everything, like when you played that for the first time, that all felt amazing to me. Like, granted, I was fucking like 14 or whatever, but like what did you think when you first played Sons of Liberty? I thought it was incredible, like from every perspective.
I was very into the whole Raiden twist. Like, that for me was the gameplay was, like there were certain things where it's like, oh, I was trying not to shoot that guy and accidentally shot this guy because these controls are ridiculous. But also like well realized, like taking advantage of things. I feel like Sons of Liberty, Metal Gear Solid 2 was kind of coming out in that weird time frame where like the rules were starting to get tighter for like how games controlled. I mean, you think about it, you go back to like PS2 and Xbox games, go back to like Black and other first-person shooters of the era and stuff like that. They control in totally insane ways. PS1 first-person shooters like Disruptor and all this other stuff that was coming out, like they're all like kind of ridiculous by today's standards because, like we were talking about VR, like a lot of that stuff hadn't been figured out. Dual analog controllers were kind of coming into their own, and eventually that stuff kind of coalesced. But at the time, yeah, every single game controlled slightly differently, and there was no kind of one-size-fits-all thing. And now it's like even the shooters that have lineage back to then and are still being made now, like Halo and Call of Duty to a certain extent, like they'll have control options that just map to the other games.
Yeah.
Like even Phantom Pain has like 2 button control options that's like one's the default and the other one's just called shooter.
Yep.
And it's like it puts reload on square and like it puts the things where you would expect them to be in like a Call of Duty style control scheme.
I feel like that was what Call of Duty 2 on 360 that kind of like put that in motion as far as like, okay, X is going to be reload, A is going to be jump, B is crouch.
Yeah, I mean, like games hit upon that control scheme definitely over time. I mean, I'd say it was Call of Duty 4 and the popularity of it that really drove it home, because then that's when the Clone Wars for first-person shooters spun up in like a really new way. And now it's like, I think games get criticized for not mapping to what the common control methods are, and it's weird that we went from kind of everyone figuring it out and everyone kind of being able to adapt to new controls for every single game they wanted to play, to now like there's sort of this expectation that like even if it's not the developer's chosen way to control a game, there's still going to be sort of we'll put in the option to make it play like fucking Call of Duty, you assholes. And they do it. And like weirdly enough, I'm kind of thankful that they do. Kind of playing as many different games as I play. Like for the longest time, like when we were like reviewing like a ton of games and all that, like I was kind of very much kind of strictly like I'm going to go in with the default control schemes because that's what most people will see and kind of evaluate the game based on like that kind of experience. And now, like I feel like like stuff has just kind of changed in a way that like I'm way less afraid to fuck with the controls than I used to be. And it's just I don't know. It's a weird thing about games.
It's been weird watching Drew. Like the last Metal Gear we played was 4, and like that came out in 2008. That was not that long ago. But even the idea of like, oh, reload is on B or circle for PS3, like that feels weird. Hitting circle to reload now. Like,
yeah.
It had to be a relatively recent thing.
Yeah, but like that used to be everything. Everything like mapped the controller the way they thought was best for their game, and that was that. And yeah, it's kind of not that way anymore.
What's the button in the new one where it makes the balloon do the thing, where it takes the thing, whatever it is, away?
The Fulton.
The Fulton delivery system.
It's a context-sensitive thing. So like when you knock out a dude, it'll come up, and I think in shooter
X.
mode it's X.
Yeah.
That is all I want to do in that
hold it
game,
down.
is attach balloons to everything.
The fun thing that it does is like if you beat up a guy too much, the chance that he'll survive the Fultoning goes down.
Yep.
So it like inspires you to actually.
Wait, they can die from Fultoning?
Yes. They might not make it.
Yeah, they might not make it back.
They might not make it. So if you're in an area with I haven't seen this personally, but my understanding is if you're in an area with a sandstorm, it'll be harder to extract things because the weather might get in the way. But also, there are situations where you gun a guy down and he's not dead. He's just kind of there, just going over and over again, which is like a really great animation. And you can walk up and just like go and shoot him, or you'll have like a 30% chance to like Fulton them at that point.
Okay.
And they might still make it, but it seems like a pretty low chance.
If they don't, is there like a room of just Fulton bad like bodies basically that you keep on the?
I have no idea.
Just like
if I was making a Metal Gear game, I would have it so that everyone that you Fulton that doesn't get away, there's a boss that just all of those people drop on you later.
Yeah.
Unless you like leave the machine on for 6 months and then everyone dies or what, I don't know.
Or just like one room that is like locked on your rig or whatever it is, where you just open the door and it's just this mess of bodies in there.
Like
with
Symphony of the Night,
deflated
a giant
balloons
spear.
attached to them and
yeah.
Why are
And
you
that's
keeping
where
them?
Contra comes from. That's where the aliens come out of there, and that's the beginning of the Contra program.
Finally, okay, yeah.
It ties all together. Solid Snake is a Belmont, and we end with Contra. That's how that game should go.
And Big
You
Boss
realize-
owns all these health clubs.
And you got to fight Vamp again at the end.
Totally.
You can't die.
Yeah, you take the towel off the player 1 rack and put it on the player 2 rack, and then you can totally work out way harder. It's pretty
Nice.
awesome.
Dan, can I ask you the inverse of the question Vinny asked, which was Vinny asked, like, hey, what is it you're hoping for this game? Is there anything you fear? Like, what is in your deepest, darkest fears about what this game could be? Is there anything you're hoping it isn't?
Let's really drill down into Dan's
Yeah,
Metal Gear
everyone, can we
psyche
just have a
here.
private moment, just me and Dan for a second?
The worry is, I think a lot of people share this, is that with Kiefer and his cost, that Solid Snake and Big Boss have always been very vocal. I want to hear a lot of Big Boss talking, and I don't necessarily expect that. So I think that's going to be kind of a bummer. But again, I view this whole game as a bonus that I didn't expect to get. So I'm kind of feeling good about everything here.
It's a gift, really.
Yeah.
Gift from heaven.
Here you go. We'll throw you one more of these. Yeah. Austin, you went on the floor, and did you check out board games?
No, I checked out a digital board game.
Okay,
That's
all
the
right,
deal.
I'll allow it. I was going to say,
so-
man, you realize like we pay to have you come out here. You're going to look at a fucking board game? No.
Yeah. I'm bringing board games back.
D-boards.
D-boards, yes. So coming off of, on the Beastcast this week, we had a couple of guests. We had Rich Gallup and we had Chris Floyd. And one of the things that we talked, clap for them. Thank you. And one of the things we talked about was mobile gaming, which is, you talk about VR as the future of games. The other future of games seems to be mobile gaming, which is to say that is where people are putting their money as producers and developers, right?
Sure.
We're trying to make that dough in the mobile space.
Trying to catch those whales.
Trying to catch those whales. And so one of the games I went to go see, so I'm thinking about that a lot. Like, okay, what about traditional developers who have not gone into that space yet? What are they doing to get into that space? Are they trying to get them bucks? And so I went to see the Pathfinder adventure card game for iOS and Android. And I'm not going to go deep into that, but I'm excited for that game. But it's made by Obsidian, who has not made mobile games before.
And it's the Pathfinder license, like
It's the
that
Pathfinder
alternative
license.
D&D thing, right?
Yes, it's the alternative D&D thing. It's alternative D&D.
AD&D, that's where it comes from,
Right.
Yeah.
We'll play that later.
I take medication for that.
So
Dig into my monster manual.
nice. So I'm excited. I got like legitimately
That's
like heated for a second. So that game's pretty cool. It's as if you took a D&D campaign and made all of the rules, instead of being like, oh, you have like stats on a sheet and you roll dice to do just like the stuff. You have cards. So you like get a card that's like a sword, and when you fight a monster, you can like put the card out to do stuff, right? And you build a deck over the course of a long adventure. Talk about deck building over here, Jeff. Get ready.
I love adventures, but as soon as anyone says the word deck building, I'm like, nah, man.
So over the
You
course
play
of like,
Supercard a lot.
you do.
You did.
Okay, maybe I can tell you this
yeah.
in WWE terms. All right. So what if you took your Alberto Del Rio, and instead of having just that card, he had like a deck of moves he did, right? He had like leg drops and like clotheslines, and he went on adventures with other wrestlers who were his friends.
All right, yeah, okay.
Does he have any friends?
Alberto Del Rio he works alone.
Okay, so he was going solo mode.
Ricardo.
He had left the WWE by the time that thing came out, so the card was already had 0 friends.
It's true.
It's like, yeah.
So he goes on adventures, and on the adventure, he comes across like dilemmas, like limos trying to hit him, or like
We've all been there.
like men in masks, and like who's under the mask? I don't know, and you got to use your wisdom score. Alberto
And then
Del
you
Rio
find out it was Vince McMahon all
Vince
along.
McMahon all along. Low wisdom score for Alberto Del Rio, unfortunately. And so you on the match, you fight, you win, and at the end you get to add a new card to your deck, so then next time it's better. He's looking around. Anyway, my point is, Obsidian's never done anything on the mobile before. And that's really surprising that they would go from like these huge, sprawling like computer RPGs and games like Alpha Protocol, everyone's favorite Obsidian game.
The only Obsidian game.
And Knights of the Old Republic 2, my favorite game of all time.
And South Park.
South Park, right. They're Pillars of Eternity. These are huge, weird things to like, oh, we're going to make a card game on iOS. And the reason I'm thinking about this a lot is also because I just played Lara Croft Go, which I think is going to give me more Tomb rating than I've gotten in a Tomb Raider game in a decade.
Man. That's like both exciting and like kind of sad.
Yeah, it's kind of super sad. So like my whole thing right now, I'm trying to figure out like, are we going to start seeing more big developers who are used to putting out What? Okay. Putting out more like small mobile things. And if so, like what's that look like? Like what if, we're over here thinking about like, oh, VR is the future, but like what if Destiny 3.0 has like an actual Destiny game?
Can I say
separate?
I love the idea of Destiny going the fucking Disney Infinity route of like trying to put version numbers on things. That'd be like perfect and like sad. I think it works for Infinity, but oh my god, it would just be like, oh, Destiny 2.0, you can't do that.
Is there anything that could get you back into mobile games, Jeff? Is there any big name developer who could drag you in?
No, I mean, like I'm not opposed to mobile games. Okay. Like I spend time on a toilet like anybody, right?
Sure.
I mean,
we all do. That's healthy.
Yeah.
I'm glad for you.
No, it's been great. Let me tell you. Lately,
clap.
I've been playing a lot of Quiz Up. Like I got to the top of in July, I got to the top of the video game titles category, which is like if you happen to run, say, a database full of video games where the titles are in them, you might recognize a lot of these things very quickly and be able to do well at it.
You're not like double fisting one thing on the wiki and then the other.
What is with the double fisting tonight? Did I start something? Is that my fault?
Yeah.
The only thing I double fist on the toilet is 40s.
Yeah.
Living the life.
With or without the duct tape?
With the duct tape. It's the only way I can feel anything.
All right.
Yeah.
That's fair.
No, there's a time component to Quiz Up, so you couldn't really look it up.
Okay.
It's all up here, man. In this
Steel
mess,
vault.
in this horrible mess. So no, there are definitely like a handful of mobile games that I'm like fucking with at any given time, but like I tend to skew towards like the stuff that like you would never like. It's totally inoffensive, and it is stuff like it's still like Words with Friends or something like that, where it's just like here's this super simple thing I can just like load up and go like spell a word, let's send it off, and then forget about it. Like that's kind of my ideal mobile experience. It's something I am not like super engaged with and draining a battery on.
Right.
It's stuff where it's just like Pac-Man 256. Like I know some people like super obsess over it and play it like in large stretches and then get really good at it. Like Dan's got some insane score.
It's really good.
What's your score?
That is one. I'm at like 36,000.
Yeah, I got like 11 once. I felt pretty all right about it.
No, that is one like that's one of the rare
11,000,
ones.
Come on.
Oh, okay.
That's one of the rare mobile games that I will sit down and play for an extended period. to where like I'll get on the stationary bike at the gym for like an hour and just play Pac-Man the entire time, and it flies by. It feels like 10 minutes and an hour's gone by. Like,
yeah, but like that thing I play so sparingly that I've until I had a bunch of flights this week, I hadn't hit the thing that said like, hey, why don't you put some money into this? Like it just had never appeared.
I immediately bought that, like the ultimate the credits thing where it's like $8 or whatever. Okay, I like this game a lot.
$8, man, that's a lot of money for a mobile.
Like half a sandwich in San Francisco.
Yeah, fair enough. If they scaled mobile prices to where you live, then that would be like $90,000.
That's nice of them to do that.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Like I dick around with stuff that I don't ever get attached to. So like there are people out there working on tablet-based RPGs and action RPGs and all this stuff, and like we're thinking this is going to be like a 60-hour game. I'm like, why would anyone ever play? Like by the time I loaded it back up, it'd be like, so what's the story? Where like that game needs something where every time you launch this, it's like you were trying to kill the skeletons. Like
so
okay, all right.
This is my fear is that like on one hand we have what Vinny said earlier, which is like the people who are making stuff for VR are like, there might not be money here. Like we're trying this because we think this is dope tech. Everybody else is like, we could get that dough making mobile games. And so like, what happens when like the next great developer is like, I gotta pay rent. I love VR. VR is cool, but like, I gotta pay rent.
So what you're saying is that they need to make a VR headset that plugs into your cell phone.
Which they already did.
That's what the future is.
No, I think you're thinking about it. What if you just are holding up a cell phone in VR playing a game on your virtual cell phone?
Yes.
Oh, fuck.
Oh.
Think about
New
it.
mobile. Neo Mobile.
Okay, yeah.
Get in.
All right, no.
That's it. That's the singularity. That's the moment that humanity is done.
Yeah.
Virtual deck building. You are literally just building decks with a hammer in VR space.
But am I spending real money on this?
Yeah,
Or am I like pulling out VR dollars that are just like not really like, here you go, it's like fake money that I then spend some of my fake money.
Man.
Do I have to use real money to buy the fake money, to buy the fake currency in the fake mobile game?
You could spend this
Yes.
microtransaction to hire like virtual contractors to help speed it
You're
up.
like
a
you're
little
like
bit.
going to Home Depot and buying like virtual deck screws to use in your like virtual deck building. And you should probably use real wood because who wants the fake wood? So you're buying real wood. Cedar's probably nice. It's a nice deck. But don't make sure you go. Don't do it. Go get the permit. Don't fuck around.
Do I
Go to
need
your
a virtual
town.
permit or
Go to your
real
virtual permit. You'll thank me later. And make sure you sink the virtual post into the concrete because it'll shift.
Yeah, no, my mailbox fell over. I know all about that.
Yeah, virtual shifting.
Yeah.
Don't fall off the deck. There's nothing under there. Just
No.
empty.
Yeah, just a void.
And let your virtual home insurance know that you have a virtual deck.
I feel like we just like figured out a way to revitalize Second Life.
Yeah.
Except then it would be like raining cocks. So yeah, I don't know. Like obviously, like gaming is spreading out in all those crazy ways, or continuing to spread out in all of those ways. And VR is back and it works and all that stuff. But like, there are still consoles.
Yeah.
And there are still
there are.
like games. Like games are starting to maybe almost. Okay, let me rephrase that. Games that are not remakes of existing games are starting to actually come out on consoles. Like Madden came out, signifying that like video games are about to return. And sure enough, when we get back, it'll be like Metal Gear and Mad Max, and like obviously, like games are going to start theoretically coming out for consoles. Forza's went gold.
Yeah.
They sent out a thing saying Forza 6 has gone gold. I'm like, games go gold. Does that mean it's done? And I realized, oh wait, no, of course it doesn't. It just means they're pressing discs. Like it doesn't mean shit anymore. Hopefully it means anyway. You guys excited for like console? I mean, anything specific like coming out pretty soon here?
I'm really looking forward to Destiny is coming out in 2 weeks. Finally.
Boo this.
Boo this man!
After a lengthy and protracted beta period.
Destiny is finally ready for humans to experience.
But it was one of the top 10 betas of last year for sure.
The shooting is so good. Like
What if they fix the rest, Jeff? What if it's better?
I am in no way suggesting the shooting in that game is bad. It's the everything else around it.
I would. It's a dark world in which I live. There's a lot of self-hatred and a lot of like non-self-hatred, but then there's still. I would still, I enjoyed my time with Destiny more than I enjoyed my time with Wolfenstein. Still, to this day, I would still back that play, back that call we made. For as fucked up as Destiny is, yeah, that's.
You're objectively wrong, but okay, that is you can have that.
That's fine. I'm used to it. It's the 10th best game of the year. I mean, and that's why I'm saying it's better than Wolfenstein, because that's what got cut.
It's true. That's just science.
Yeah,
you can't think of 10 better games than Destiny. They don't exist.
For that year, I mean, it was kind of a shit year. Kind of. Star Fox didn't come out last year.
That's this year. Is that even this year?
Is Star Fox coming out this
Yeah,
year?
that's this year.
Zero?
This year is so busy. I don't know what I'm going to do. How am I going to play video games? There's too many.
Well, don't worry. Just like cut the games that look bad and don't play Star Fox.
Okay.
Like that game looks awful, right?
Okay.
Hey.
I watched you play that thing.
Yeah, it was fun.
It looked bad.
Nah.
If you can play it with the Pro Controller, it looks like the game I've wanted since Star Fox 64.
Yeah.
I just don't want the gamepad.
Yeah,
shit.
it was. I mean, like that. The specific implementation of just like here's your aiming view, here's your always zoomed in aiming view or whatever, and then here's your ship view. Like that's too much for what.
I mean, I think they've gone on record saying that's an optional thing.
Yeah.
Can you do
after
Pro
the fact? They were
Controller?
like,
I don't know if it's Pro Controller, but I don't think you can turn off the motion stuff.
Okay, I just don't want to play with a gamepad. Like it actually looks like a follow-up to 64 if you can turn into a rooster or whatever the fuck
I have no
you do
problem
on
with the
that.
gamepad. Like you're always trying to play games with the Pro Controller. Like the gamepad is bad, but it's the same
not.
fucking
It's
the
thing.
gamepad.
It's really not.
Is it that it's heavier?
You know what the gamepad's great for?
You work out.
Mario
like-
Maker.
Yeah, well, yes.
Gamepad is great for Mario
Do
Maker.
some gamepad presses. It'll be fine.
Like the Wii, they were constantly trying to do shit with the motion control, and most of it sucked. And I like that they kind of abandoned the gamepad stuff because it's never been great. Like the Mario Chase minigame on Nintendo Land was
But
okay.
they haven't, though. Like Splatoon, you have to play that with the gamepad.
Actually-
And guess what? That shit works really well.
Yeah, actually, it's better with the gamepad.
The motion
with that.
stuff.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
actually is
yeah.
great.
It's better, yeah.
Star Fox, not that great. But Splatoon, that shit's awesome.
Yeah, I agree. But Star Fox, I just want like a traditional control method. Because every Star Fox they've done since 64, they've done some stupid thing to fuck it up. Like it's like, oh, it's Star Fox on foot shooting rocket launchers at something.
Oh, that game was bad.
Is that Command or Assault? Or
I don't remember. I think it was Assault.
Yeah, like every time I fool myself into getting excited for every new Star Fox, and they've all sucked since 64. But like I think this one, if I can play with a Pro Controller or with traditional controls, it could be good.
I feel like you're like fooling yourself. Like, but for me, it goes back one step further, where it's like original Star Fox was cool and inventive and looked really great for a Super Nintendo game, and then everything past that, I was like, nah.
In the intro to that demo, at one point the rabbit guy says, "Do a barrel roll," so that game gets a 10. It's fucking great. It's probably fine.
You're why video games suck, Alex.
I know. I know.
It came with a Rumble Pack. It came with a Rumble Pack in its big box. That was awesome.
I mean, you know, Mario Party 10 came with a fucking amiibo.
Get out!
Get out.
Out.
We haven't gotten there yet, but we'll get there. We're halfway there.
Oh God, you guys.
That was fun.
No, it was no. Mario Party 5 is a bad game.
That was the best game we played.
Record.
That was the best Mario Party.
That's your game of PAX. Mario Party 5.
I think Mario Party 5 for the GameCube was my game of PAX. Yeah.
All right, that's okay. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, sure.
Maybe it's just, you know, maybe we just have like a perspective issue. A lot of us have been doing this a long time.
Right.
You know, and Austin's very serious, and you know, maybe that's, you know, just the problem we run into.
What does that have to do with it?
We probably need like a
Very
fresh
serious.
perspective. We need like a fresh young face, like an upstart, like someone who's just out there in the world. And I think, you know, we can get someone up here. Patrick Klepek is here. Yeah. Maybe we just, you know, we've got a chair over here. Brad, if you want to maybe make a little room here, slide a mic over a little bit so we can talk to this guy for a little bit.
Here's the thing. I always used to tell everyone in the first comment of every video archive for all the PAX stuff, they're not booing me. Now they might actually be booing me.
Yeah. So you're a prominent YouTuber. What's going on out there? What's hot with the kids? Scary, right?
It's a bad place out there.
You played the horror games that all the streamers are playing. Are you a millionaire yet?
I passed 10,000 subscribers last night. Am I rich?
Are you? I don't know.
I've made
You're rich in
$300 on
spirit.
YouTube.
You made $300 on YouTube?
I'm going to quit everything, and it's going to be great.
Oh, man. That sounds pretty good. I've got like 3,000 subscribers. I don't run videos on that channel. I could probably get there.
I think you've made $30.
Shit. All right. I'm going to get back here and click. I didn't click monetize on any of the videos. Is that a problem?
You'll probably just get a content ID lock on all of them anyway, so...
All right. Well, let's talk YouTube best practices here. You've been out there kind of doing your thing on the side, nights, weekends, mornings, when you're not reporting on...
When Hulk Hogan's not trying to shut my site down, then otherwise I'm okay.
Exactly.
He's not trying to shut your site down. He just wants to be your boss.
Yeah. Hulk Hogan's going to come in and go, we need to drop the leg on these news stories, brother. And it's like... Hogan doesn't make the towns, you gotta make the towns, brother.
Say your prayers, eat your vitamins, fix those headlines for maximum clicks.
It's got dark fast.
Hogan truly does know best, brother.
It could be Hollywood Hogan.
It could,
Depends what era. Right.
Then he's going to take his belt off and hit you with it while you're right. You probably don't. It's a totally different
Start
thing.
dyeing his stubble again.
Yeah, no, that's a bad place to be. So, but you've had this freedom to experiment across YouTube and like putting out stuff. You're expressing yourself in the format that will eventually destroy all websites.
Can't wait.
Yeah, no, I can't wait.
Tear them all fucking down.
No, totally. Like, who needs them?
No.
They're just in the way.
Let's just get into SEO.
Totally. Yeah. No, SEO for what? Like websites. That's the problem. You need SEO for like YouTube videos. That's the thing. Extended HD gameplay. This is the future of.
So learning the tricks of YouTube has been fascinating, because if you talk to people that are like on YouTube and have like they actually do make a living, there's all these like there's the shadow culture of the actual way that YouTube ranks everything.
Tell me about the dark tube.
So part of the dark tube, that's a really good term. I'm gonna write that down.
Patent pending.
Is so you would think like that, like likes and dislikes, like that must mean something. Like if you go to a video and it's like that's got 1,000 dislikes, only 21 people liked it, that doesn't mean anything. They're just like, that's engagement.
Yeah.
So you actually rank higher if people hate your shit. Now Google won't tell you this because they wouldn't be like, we love to rank the stuff that no one likes. But that just means people are clicking it.
Yeah.
So actually, like when there are these things like dislike bots are one of the things I've been reading about lately. You can download these scripts that like run on rival YouTuber channels to like run up the dislikes. Like that guy, there's this story I've been looking to, like these two Dishonored guys that only have like a couple hundred subscribers each.
Yeah.
And yet they keep hiring bots through like proxies to like run dislikes, thinking that that is going to put one of them ahead. Instead, it just bumps both of them up. Because YouTube does not care.
Right.
They just care that they're both really getting
This is
into
the world's shittiest arms race, man. This is the worst.
It's bad.
But like that's how it was for websites for a while. Yeah. You know, a lot of cases of just like bots hitting pages to try to do things, or spam posting links to things. Like it's the next frontier of bullshit in this awful thing. But yeah, I mean, I certainly like my fiance watches like beauty bloggers, and she got me into grocery hauls and all this other stuff. And
of course,
yeah, naturally. And
this is what happens when you get married.
No, I know it's been amazing.
Exciting.
It's this whole new world. It's been awesome. And there's this one person, and she's the fucking worst. And like it's one of those things where like I'm mad about it, and I see the videos and go like, "You're a garbage person. You're a bad fucking person." And like there will be like it's primarily like, here's what I did with my day and blah blah blah, and here's my routine for makeup, and it's like totally innocuous stuff, and you're just like, all right, whatever. But then sometimes it's just like here I am like espousing a lot of really horrible views, and then like later on saying that I was joking, because it seems like these videos seem like they're just placed at intervals to cause spikes in that sort of behavior to keep it growing.
Hulk Hogan has a YouTube channel?
Hulk Hogan has like 9 YouTube channels, but don't watch any of the videos. They're and yeah, it's like this. It's super scary. Where like it's been nice to see a lot of that stuff because you see a lot of the same things in the gaming channels. But I have a lot of feelings about video game coverage.
Yes.
That like cloud my judgment of how a lot of that stuff goes. So like having this like one step removed, like here are people playing the game in something that I have zero stakes in, and I can just watch the game. And I can just watch like how they're trying to play it and how they're trying to get their channel noticed. And here are the marketing deals they're taking to, you know, get this makeup and these offer codes and all this other stuff. And here's how they hold things up in front of behind their hand so the autofocus on their shitty camera knows to focus on this. They have to put their hand behind it. What it will change your, it will darken your doorstep forever once you see this and know what it means. And you're welcome.
You've ruined YouTube for a lot of people right now.
Yeah, no, it's like they all do this stuff and they're all learning from each other, and so you see these bad habits and these habits like just become super prolific and they get out there far and wide, and it's dark. It looks like business. Like you watch it and you go like, oh well, it's like and you know it's like, hey, all these like, you know, teenage girls watching this for makeup tips and all that stuff, but all I see is just ice cold business. And it's scary. And you watch that and you go like, where does it end? Like, and you start getting into different sectors like, nope, this is what everyone's doing. And they all still kind of do that YouTube style of like, here's fast cuts. Now I'm over here. Now I'm over here. Can't complete a sentence. Not good enough on camera to do this. And like that.
Yeah, you learn that on YouTube. You're like, you don't ever do a second cut. You just like keep filming and then like, it's cute. If you don't know how to finish a sentence, then you just like, cut halfway
like
in.
Smash cut, yeah. And it's like I've started to actually like that style. Not in a way that like I'm not that I'm gonna get into it, other than I think it would be hilarious. But there's something to it. It's got a pace to it. It makes it feel manic, and it's scary. It's all super scary.
Well, it's interesting to follow. I mean, because it's part of what like made Giant Bomb so ahead of the curve. Is like now everything is going personality based. Like now is it's about people, and it's depressingly about people sometimes, and like the things that are blowing up like in the last like 2 weeks, like these, like the people that like they're sharing their weird pregnancies like live on YouTube, and then you learn all these weird things about
that was the launch of YouTube gaming.
You didn't see the guy that like
I don't really go on the internet anymore.
That's great. Stay off.
Too busy building decks.
It's bad out there.
Keep the kids away from it.
Wait, so wait, when you say
game, it's a little bit like that.
You mean like birth?
No, probably though.
Like
I'm not willing to rule that out, that there has not been a live birth.
So wait, then how do you share your pregnancy?
So there was they had been trying, and then like
is this the driving video? Is this the video? With the
no, this is the guy that went into was sneaking around in the toilet.
Okay, no, I don't watch.
You didn't see that?
I don't watch that YouTube.
It's a weird YouTube channel.
Are you just like, hey, I'm pregnant? Like
no, his wife pees at like every night at like 3.
You can stop now.
Okay, no, go on.
They don't film that part yet.
There's not a camera in the toilet. We're not there yet.
That
was my idea. That was like me and Glenn.
Con Ed ID takes down the toilet cams.
Okay, like 20 years ago, like there were 2 ideas we were kicking around. One, it was a talk show where the host sat on a glass bottom toilet. And there was and then 2 was to, this is around the time that like the 24/7 cameras and stuff, like, oh, we pointed at a coffee pot so the engineers know if there's coffee. And it was like, all I wanted to do, and I hope someone does it, well, whatever, it's too late, no one would be fooled. I want to wire a house, 24/7 cameras all around a house, and then present it as just like, follow our family. And it's like this super wholesome, like, hey, here we go, we're just living our lives, doing our thing. I'm going off to school. And then one day, fake murder everyone. Like you build up a following and then just like start killing, fake killing the family and just like dragging bodies from one room to the next. So people like have night trap control over like, okay, I think he's in the hallway now. He's still dragging that body. He's stacking them up in the bathroom and then leave and then cut to like static shots or something so that the people don't actually have to lay there for 24 hours, but just leave those shots up and running.
You'd have to do this for like a full year though. Like
totally,
really low. Like, people think it's like a funny experiment and then they're like, this is boring. I don't want to watch this. But then for like the 7 people that are still tuned in, like, guys, this guy killed everyone in the house.
Yeah, and it would have worked a lot better earlier because people would watch like that kind of daily life stuff because it would have been novel. Now, like there are so many of those cameras that eventually people would tune out. But yeah, just for the people that stuck by it for that long of a time, then all of a sudden it's just like, whoops, everyone got murdered, and they're like frantically trying to call the cops, and the cops are coming to the house, and you're all gone, and the cops break in and there's nothing there, and then you probably still end up going to jail and having a lot of explaining to do.
This is kind of like, I feel like this is basically the end. That's the last Twitch plays is where that ends.
Twitch plays
like,
murder?
Check it out. Yeah, we did Twitch plays this murder house, and it's pretty awesome. Like we couldn't quite get the knife in, and it's like kind of sideways, and just this horrible, just hacking scene of somebody. No, stab her in the head. Stab him in the butt.
Cuts on his arms because we couldn't get the knife just straight.
Well, we have to go into democracy mode. You're like, where do you want to stab me? Where I'm just gonna stand.
Which
here.
artery do you want to cut?
Yeah, no, move forward.
Which one makes him bleed the most?
It just goes into the knee, and no one's happy.
I'm just typing stab 9 over and over again. So that's, everyone's got to have a back pocket business plan in this day and age. So mine's YouTube Murder House, or it's like live stream murder camp. That's where I think that's where the real money is to be made. But now I think you would probably present it as like some kind of fucking ARG, or at the end of it would be like an ad for like Fresca or something.
Is there even Fresca anymore?
This would be the comeback for
Okay.
Fresca. It's like, you thought we were dead, but we're not. Fresca's back.
That was good business.
Standing ovation for that. Yes.
And hashtag ad, right? You have to put that there legally. I think you probably have to put that there.
I'm sorry, what?
Someone said hot bran, which I don't want to eat any hot bran. That sounds bad.
No.
Yeah.
I thought he said hot Brad.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah.
Well,
We do have a pretty hot Brad up here, if we're honest. Steamy.
Well, I finally saw this haircut in the person for the first time.
Yeah. Well, we had to
Do you want to touch it?
You took off.
Not in front of all these people.
We had to do something
we'll talk
about some
later.
hair around here once you left. It was like.
Well, I was glad, when you were looking for someone else, like you kept a couple of things in place, and curly hair was one of them.
Yeah.
You got to have specific requirements.
Yeah, that's where we were at with it. We had to make sure that was legit. And
I appreciate it.
I think it's worked out pretty well.
I got this so I could get the job. It used to be completely. I had a perm.
It was weird that you had to get the perm for the job, but it's you got to adapt.
Yeah, it's like a fake it till you make it sort of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Here I am, making it.
1 year in, you can stop going for those appointments.
Yeah. Well, we're going to take some Q&A here when we get ready to wrap up. So if people do have some questions that aren't garbage, the 2 microphones are here.
That seems to be asking a lot.
Okay, if they're super garbage, like I want either the very best or the very worst. So if you got some questions, line up for that. Patrick, how's life in Chicago? I keep meaning to get out there. What's the Chicago scene like these days?
Dave Lang's still there.
Yeah, someone has to finish Batman. If it goes back on sale next year, does it count for Game of the Year 2016? Probably not, because even a fixed version of that game's not that great, but...
It's weird. Someone should write an article about that game.
Yeah, maybe someday.
Maybe someday.
Yeah. But no, seriously, did you go to the Pac-Man restaurant?
So I heard a story about the Pac-Man restaurant.
There's a Pac-Man restaurant outside of Chicago.
Level 256,
Yeah.
right? Because that's where the game breaks.
Yeah.
So apparently I didn't go on the day of, but on launch day, supposedly they had the creator of Pac-Man out there, because obviously he would be there
Right.
for the launch of this.
And
they
he was
had
in Pixels, he's in this, he's all over the place.
who's the vaguely racist.
Yeah.
They sang the song about Pac-Man.
Buckner and Garcia.
Right. And which one is the one that passed away?
That's,
I believe it was
Okay.
Garcia.
I believe Garcia.
Right.
Yeah.
So they had Buckner out for this launch event,
Yeah.
but then they had him, I guess, on stage pretending to play an instrument, but not actually playing an instrument. And then they had the creator of Pac-Man up there dancing, but then a person playing the Buckner and Garcia song off of a laptop, and everyone just kind of slowly danced on stage.
It sounds like a Lynchian nightmare, man.
It's not like, I mean, it's like kind of a jaunty tempo, but it's not like some like dance bangers or doon, 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 doon.
No, and I guess it was just kind of like.
Oh man.
Oh yeah.
And so the person that told me the story like took a short video of it, but then didn't want to share it because they didn't want to bum everyone out.
I mean, I'm bummed out just hearing about
That's
it.
admirable restraint is what that is.
Yeah.
I'm surprised.
In this day and age, you're
Yeah.
just like, this tweet is too sad.
All right, so I don't want to hold up for your questions, but what do you serve at a Pac-Man restaurant?
Pills.
I don't know, like
pills and pizzas with 2 pieces missing. Like the server in the back has to go, fucking goddamn it.
they take a bite out of the cheese.
No, it's I looked at the whole menu. It's like pasta.
What? You said Pac-Man's Italian?
It's like slightly upscale, like Italian eats from the looks of things.
It's just a converted pasta mania.
Yeah, exactly. Like they wanted to keep the yellow theme, so they went from Hogan to Pac-Man.
Yep.
And then just.
All right, that all makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Pac-Man racist?
I don't know anymore. All right, we are going to get into your questions. Patrick, thank you very much. It's always great to see you. Follow his work on Kinja.
I was saying Scoop Earns.
Kinja is fun to say. Are you guys in a union yet? Did you guys unionize yet? Yes. How's that working out?
Not fired yet.
Awesome. All right. Let's start over here with some questions. We've got no answers for you.
Yay! Hey, hi.
Hello.
I'm Alex. I put together the Giant ROM Game Jam, and on behalf of every one of us who participated, thank you so much for playing the games on the Big Live Show Live. That was awesome. Thank you.
That was a very cool thing.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that was rad to see that stuff.
So, for the next jam, what would you think would be some cool themes to thematically direct the games around? And I'll just take all of them and pick one at random when the game jam starts.
Yeah, a John Vignacchi based game. He has to be on Good Morning America without saying someone's phone number. I think that could work. I mean, there are so many JV games. You could do like the Johnny V Infinity Toss, where he's on a stage full of people trying to throw these large things out into a crowd, and either you get points for killing people or not killing people. I don't know. You could probably go either way with it. Or like you could do like an East versus West theme. Now that we're like kind of running 2 offices doing that thing, there could be that sort of aspect to it.
Italian Pac-Man.
Italian Pac-Man.
Yeah. How about what Hideo Kojima does next?
Bleak cyberpunk dystopias.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Hi.
Hello.
Did you guys get a chance to play Dark Souls 3 here?
Not here.
No, but I saw that sick fucking fountain they have down there.
Yeah.
That is the most metal thing I've ever seen. Like, if I had a patio, I would want that on my patio. That thing is sick.
Dude, you just gotta get into deck building.
Okay.
It's really big.
So none of you.
Vinny and I played that a few weeks ago.
Okay. I just want to hear some general impressions or thoughts.
It's cool to have a shield again.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like doing uppercuts with a broadsword. It's like Siegfried from Soul Blade.
Useful shields.
Yeah, I kind of tanked my way through Dark Souls 1 and 2, so I hope I can do that again. It seems like maybe they've changed some stuff to discourage and encourage other styles of play, but it's got that gothic medieval vibe to it, and that's cool to see again.
Okay. Thanks. I haven't gotten a chance because they keep telling me I'm not allowed to be in the line to be in the line, so.
It's very Dark Souls.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's heady stuff. Hello.
Hi. I'm a big fan of the Mario Party series of videos.
Yeah. Same.
You're an enabler.
Yeah. I just think it's amazing. You guys have played that 5 times, and every time it's been a tense, down to the last turn literally match, and every time super entertaining. So because that series is so good, does that mean Mario Party is good?
Yes.
Wait, let's take a vote on this.
Okay, yeah, let's go
All
down
right,
the
so
list.
how many say yes?
First. Yes. Drew, put your fucking hand up. Come on.
He's holding the camera. He can't.
That camera's not that heavy, Drew. Fucking put you won. God damn it.
Nobody wins.
Jason, come on. God damn it.
All right, now how many people think Mario Party is abject fucking garbage?
Do that? You don't need to do that.
Democracy wins again.
They like Mario Party. Most people here have enjoyed Mario Party at some point, right?
Think about why people watch. You know, like reality television. It's because people like car crashes and train wrecks and the worst things in the world. They want to see it splayed out before them.
Weaponized human misery for our entertainment.
Yeah,
It's very dramatic.
Mario Party is the
video
nuclear
game.
option of weaponized entertainment, and it doesn't. I don't think it can actually get any worse than that.
Yeah, thank you very
very
much.
dramatic.
The notion that we are like only halfway through, that like there's just as much shit to come.
The next one has motion controls, is that right?
No, the next one has a microphone.
Oh, better.
Yeah, I don't know what that involves, but we have a microphone.
We have like 8
4 microphones.
You know it's going to involve a lot of screaming.
Yeah, no, people keep sending Mario Party games to us, and it's like the worst. Like
Everything's working out.
That mailbag where we got the fucking box of trash was cooler than the one where it's like, oh, here's Mario Party 5. Like,
Oh, the
shit.
one Aaron Trite sent to us?
No, not the one Aaron tried. Like, we got one. I think you were out, but it was just like, here's just a heap of. There's like a PC case that might as well be on fire, and just like
banana
9
peels?
sets of busted headphones. Some of those WWE All Star sticks, but those actually look pretty nice. But like, it was just like, you open it up and like, what? Why would? Oh,
Is there really a meaningful difference between a box full of trash and a box full of Mario Party?
I think what we need to start doing is like Secret Santa with mailbag shit, where it's like, when people send us stuff, we get their addresses. We should just like start like, repackaging other people's stuff and sending it back to them. And it's like, here you go, it's 9 StarCraft 2 strategy guides.
Here's a severed finger. Good luck figuring out where that came from.
Yeah. We love your submissions for the mailbag. I don't mean
Keep them coming.
I don't mean to shit on people that are sending us things. That's very nice of them, but sometimes it's all getting thrown away. Hello.
Hello. As for nice things, I have gifts.
Oh?
Okay.
Mostly Canadian, except for one.
All right.
Shut up.
And then Adam Boyes gets up and his pants come down. It's like,
All right,
wait,
let's
this
see what we
got
got
weird.
here.
This got weird, man.
Is Adam Boyes Canadian?
Is it
Not
all
maple
Canadian
syrup, I'm
cereal?
really bummed.
I don't know. Are you?
Oh, wow.
I don't know.
Oh my God. Montreal smoked meat Lays.
All right. That's just pastrami. Don't tell them in
What? This
Montreal.
isn't a thing? This is in
All right.
French.
Uh-huh. That's
All right.
empty.
It's empty.
All right, cool, great.
All right.
This,
do it.
thanks.
Wait, no. Wait, what are you doing?
The Oreos. The Oreos.
Wait a minute. Wait a goddamn minute. No. No.
The Oreos are Canadian. Queso Blanco dip. Why the hell not? Pretty good. Pretty good. That's pretty good. Yeah,
You
let's try
didn't
one.
even stop to consider that. Like, that was just automatic.
Try one. It's actually pretty good.
This says butter chicken on it.
Wait, is this the first time you've done that? The dip an Oreo in there?
I have a lot of Oreos in my mouth right now.
Don't ask him questions, right? Oh, God, I smelled it.
There's a, you bring that chair up, you can sit over
Oh,
here.
wow, that really does smell awful. That is... Wow.
This is
Just to be clear, I did not smell the cheese. I smelled the cheese that was in his mouth.
No!
It's actually not bad.
I know. I told you. God damn it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's all right.
It's the scariest part of the whole thing. Is it when you do it and you're like, oh, actually, you
Oh, God, no.
No, it's actually not bad.
I have to take the next question.
okay.
I'll do it after. Hello, hi.
I'm going to need a regular-ass Oreo. How about that?
Yeah, it works.
Before I ask my question, I will point out real quick, I went to a video game data panel hosted by the head of EDAR literally yesterday.
Uh-huh.
The best mobile game barely beats out a Call of Duty map pack. Normal games are not really in any danger for a long time.
Well, it's a separate. You're right. It's a separate thing. It's not about danger. It's not about one overtaking the other. But it's just kind of expanding the market.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But on to the question, I did the HTC Vive earlier today. I personally have always hated motion controls. It is literally the first time they have ever felt natural to me. And I'm wondering if a lot of the discussion around motion controls have always been, oh, this is bad. I'm wondering if it's because we were just looking at the feedback on our 2D display.
I think that could be probably part of it to a certain extent. Would be
I think the fidelity's better now.
Yeah, well, it's like but in some cases it's literally the same motion controller, so it's not. But
Well, I always thought the Move motion controller was fine. Like the fidelity on that was fine. It tracked really well, and I think it's better tracking through the
and being able to kind of just see that stuff in 3D in some cases even
Yeah.
it probably helps you kind of get the spatial awareness you need, right?
Yeah, that's what I really think the fidelity is just there.
Cool. Yeah. Thanks.
I don't feel well now.
Weird. I probably should have actually told you that that's the downside about that whole thing. Is
Not that bad.
At some point it gets a little rough.
Get in there, Alex.
Hi.
Hi. I'm Dan. So I'm a premium member. I've signed up.
Thank you.
Yeah. I've signed up for NatureBox. I also normally browse the site not logged in. With the 6+ hours of content I consume from you guys a week, how can I give you more money so you keep doing the things you're doing?
We sell a lot of merchandise. We actually just launched. Looks like you already are up on some of that. But yeah, if you go to it's like store.giantbomb.com, we got hats in there now and some other stuff, mugs and that sort of thing. We're trying to want to make cool stuff. It's like there was you could have made the argument that maybe we should have done a tip jar or something when we started or something like that, but I feel like on our end there was a desire to have a transaction, we want to have a service and make sure that we are kind of earning the money and that sort of stuff. So
have you ever thought of a tip button for videos? Sometimes I watch a quick look and I'm just like, fuck, I just want to give you money. This is too funny, right?
If you have cash on you right now, you want to put it down on
carefully
a line here, we can
cash
do
to this
that.
P.O. box in Petaluma. I'll see to it that it makes its way into the CBS coffers.
I think that's super generous of you, and thank you very much. I would say, tell your friends.
Yeah.
Get them to come join the fold and
sign up for several subscriptions. You can do that. There's nothing stopping you.
No, join the conversation.
But yeah, actually, we kind of, it's word of mouth in a lot of cases. That's kind of our strongest, thing for growth is people telling other people that, you need to see this thing. And part of that, I think we need to be a little bit better about kind of explaining what some of those videos behind the paywall are. And actually, some people do that for us on YouTube in a way that is sometimes awesome, and sometimes you get a little icky, we should probably have that taken down, because that's most of that video on YouTube now.
Oh, wait, look at this. We got a special guest here.
Hello. Gift subscriptions are live now, Matt Rory says. He ran here from San Francisco.
He really
That's a bike.
Get that man a water.
Yeah, so you could gift people a subscription, that sort of thing. There are options out there. But yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hello.
Hello. It's been a year since we asked this question, but now...
How do you get into games journalism? I'm glad you asked.
What is Firewatch?
I'm not even convinced it still exists. I haven't seen it. Is it here? It's not here.
I don't think it's
right?
here.
Yeah, is it here? It is here? No? There was a panel yesterday. A bunch of smoke and mirrors came up there. Here's this video game we're working on. Firewatch will come out and it'll be a really fancy Star Wars poster. I'll explain the Star Wars poster for you. All right. Boba Fett.
Okay.
Started a fighting tournament. And he sought out the master of a form called Teras Kasi. And then that's explained on the rest of it's just on the poster. You'd really have to see the poster. Go ahead. Next question. Hello.
Hey guys, I was wondering, how do you feel the transition with Giant Bomb East becoming a separate sort of studio and the dust settling from that? Vinny's apparently building a deck. How do you feel that transition has gone? Are you happy with it? Are the analytics for your guys' site bearing out a positivity business-wise for that, or how do you feel about it?
I mean, I feel good about it. It's like, and it's sort of the thing that we kind of knew was going to happen for years. It was eventually going to be like, okay, well, at some point, Vinny will be called home to his time zone.
His people needed him.
Someday I'll go back to my real destination somewhere.
Yeah.
Like we had always talked about for a long time, like how do you grow a personality-driven site, right? Because you at some point can't just dump everybody into the same space because we just can't. You will not see the personalities at that point, right? But if you can do it simultaneously, like that might be an avenue. I've had a lot of fun with it. I think Alex and Austin. It's been awesome to work with them, and we kind of have, it's a different chemistry and a different vibe, and that's really interesting. Like when you work around people in a very tight office environment, like we've worked for forever, it's good to shake things up once in a while. So I think that's been probably the most refreshing of like, well, like now we're doing things kind of the same, but a little bit differently over here. And we saw at Whiskey, it's, like you can't really franchise that stuff. Like, it's not that easy. It's not that easy to expand. You can't just like...
Yeah, you can't just be like, let's go find 4 more people and drop them in here and they'll report on anime. Like, for example.
For example.
Wait. I have some ideas about anime.
I still regret, and we wouldn't have access to it now with the way everything went down in the sale and all that, I'm sure, but I still regret that we never built a wrestling site. I still regret that we never built a proper wrestling wiki for people.
I could help out with that.
Yeah. Maybe someday Wrestle Fury can live again.
Good URL.
But, for the record, Giant Bomb Beast is going pretty well for me. I'm glad it exists.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. It's been fun, and it's like I think we're still kind of working out some of the balancing act about like who does what and when and all that sort of stuff. Like splitting up. We now have a video call every Monday morning where it's like, are you gonna quick look that? And we're like, fuck no. You guys take that thing. It's FMV point and click adventure. I don't want to play that shit.
Yeah, it's working out. I think that stuff is it's still an interesting little. Kind of almost an experiment, but I think it's a little bit beyond that. Maybe that's not a good word for it, but trying to do stuff simultaneously, and I think the time zone stuff actually works out in some cases for stuff.
Yeah, definitely. That was for sure. There are things that you guys theoretically being awake 3 hours earlier than we are. I think leads to some interesting stuff.
Theoretically.
Yeah. Very loose theory. Hello.
We talked a lot today about how Giant Bomb has been evolving, and while it's always based in personality, there's also a huge community behind it. And I actually got the chance to talk to Patrick Klepek the other day, and I met Patrick Klepek. You may have heard of him. He kind of writes stuff on the internet. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. YouTube.com/user/Patrick Klepek.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
So we got to talking about how the community and how it has been growing over the years, and since I was playing Metal Gear, I said it's basically become like the outer heaven of gaming for us. Like it's become a gamers without nations.
Wow.
I know, I was really inspired that night.
Yeah.
But one of the things that really brought us together was the wiki that you guys are developing. And previously there was a feature called the wiki tasks where people would be saying like, well, this needs filling out. And with the site change, I think that has gone away a little bit. Yeah. And in the forums, there has been forum sites where we're saying, well, this is missing, we can fill this in. But I was wondering, are there any plans to incorporate more wiki development into the site?
Totally. It's been something that I've been pushing on for a pretty long time. And so I'll tell you what the #1 problem with the wiki is, and this is something that affects Comic Vine as well, is that pages with too many associations on them can no longer be saved. You can't make edits to them anymore. They've gotten too big and it just breaks when you try to hit save. And not a lot of people see that, but it's been broken forever and making me fucking crazy for a very long time. We're starting to make some headway in that direction. It's one of those things where it's like, we've got an engineering team that literally has like 1,000 different things they could be doing, and it's one of those things where we're always kind of making our case for like, hey, the wiki needs attention, the wiki needs attention, but also we have to move the billing stuff over to a new thing because it's breaking. Also, we need to redo the YouTube stuff because YouTube has changed their things and it's breaking videos and it's still breaking sometimes. I actually got an email yesterday, kind of an initial report on, kind of looking at what it'll take to fix that first major problem and reduce the load it takes to actually save pages. And once that's done, like there is a whole roadmap that I've got kind of
Look at Dan
worked
being
out.
sneaky.
Dan is like fucking words on a page. Come
Yep.
on. No, he's got to pee.
His tiny bladder needed
is
some attention.
I think he's going to throw up.
insane.
That's not the bathroom, Dan.
That way to pee. You drink a bunch of beer on a panel, you wonder what happens. It's
Make
weird,
sure you
right?
stream it.
Anyway.
Weird how you drink like that.
Periscope that shit.
So yes, I have a replacement for the wiki task system in mind as a part of that process, and also, I want to have a kind of front page for the wiki that brings back a lot of the stuff we had, where it's like most popular wiki pages. Here are the top 10 pages that actually need assistance based on users saying this page is fucked, and that sort of thing. So we can really start to expose that stuff again, because there's a ton of really cool stuff in there, and yeah, we've done a bad job these last couple of years of really kind of exposing that, and it's something that we want to make sure that these fixes are in place before we get out there and say, hey, we've got this wiki, so we don't say, hey, we've got this wiki, and then people try to save edits to it and breaks and loses work and that sort of stuff. So like that stuff, yeah, there's no ETA on it. This is stuff that will probably take, like when I think about the amount of stuff I want to do to the wiki, like this is like a year or something of work, just kind of fitting in these different features and stuff like that. And hopefully it will be about a year and not like a year's worth of work spread across 2 years or something crazy like that. But yeah, right now they're looking to fix the big problems, and we'll see what's next.
All right, thank you very much.
I'm so glad you asked about the wiki. Like, Jeff loves the wiki. Like,
we all love the wiki on some level.
Like,
I'm sure all of us appreciate the wiki too.
I'm so glad you asked that question.
It needs to be better.
All right, thank you so much for the work and dedication.
Yeah, thanks. Hello.
Hey, so in the spirit of Dan's story about chemical warfare to get drinks at a college bar, Jeff, you had mentioned that was something you could see someone in their early 20s doing. I just wondered if anybody else, without getting fired, had something in their early 20s that they could maybe just share tonight along those lines.
I'm not sure what's the reference?
Dan dropped stink bombs in a crowded bar to get drinks more easily.
Oh, okay. All right. That checks out. That makes sense.
Yeah, totally.
Early 20s.
I don't have any specific stories of my own, but after he told that story, I did get a couple of emails to the podcast address from members of law enforcement. And I think he's wanted in Kansas now.
The stink bandit.
You could never go home
back.
again.
Hey, hi. How's it going? I can't really think of anything that's too, I don't know, it's not necessarily something like that. Craziest things that happened when I was in my teens and 20s. Someone pointed a shotgun in the window of my car once.
Cool.
I was driving someone over to a girl's house, and he should not have been there. And the guy made it clear, the guy with the shotgun made it clear that we were to leave.
Did it help you get drinks easier? No.
No, after that is when I decided I should probably start drinking, actually.
Tip your bartenders better, and they will serve you before they serve other people. Be the biggest tipper. That's a legitimate way to help somebody out and get your drinks faster.
Yeah.
No, don't make
drop
them
stink bombs.
Don't make
do
them
that.
smell.
Wait, what? You talking about stink bombs? I missed that part?
All right, next question.
Wait, no, I never missed that. That was Dan, we're moving on. It's
All right.
a good thing. You missed it.
Got some hot garbage for you. So since we've been talking a little bit about the past and how games have improved on control schemes and stuff like that, was there ever a moment like let's say this is a hot garbage question, but like you had a time machine and you would like maybe want to stop a trend or make a trend in gaming or change an event or something like that, like save the Virtual Boy or some shit like that.
I mean, I would kill Hitler. That's like the really easy. Yes, that's what I would. That is the trend I would stop. Is
Imagine
Hitler.
if you went back and killed Hitler, what would video games be?
Red alert.
There
right?
wouldn't be a like. Would there be a Nazi zombies mode?
Call of Duty would not have happened because Call of Duty and Medal of Honor and all that started with WWE 2.
Wait.
WWE?
Did you say
I didn't say that. I said WWE. No, I said WWE 2.
No, you said WWE.
No, I
absolutely did.
You
You really
did. No, I didn't.
Really?
That is the lamest Freudian slip I have ever heard.
Seriously? There's no. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna check the tape.
Someone rewind the tape on
Yeah,
this.
rewind that shit. I didn't say WWE.
You did. You absolutely
WW2.
Well, you did because I was really trying to think how Command and Conquer was related to the WWE.
So it was really a hell of a heel turn, though. I mean, he was buying everybody beer and all this other stuff, and then all of a sudden it was like, "Oh, you're the fucking worst person alive." No one saw that coming. Like the writing, wow. Vince McMahon is.
Yes, you did.
Way. So I think if I had a time machine, I would go and I'd probably rewatch that clip again over and over again. That was pretty funny.
Yeah.
I could say the word two.
But you didn't. You said E.
I might have slurred it a little bit.
No. I heard a two.
No,
After half of an E, I heard a two.
There.
All right.
I'm going to rewind that.
We're going to wrap this thing up. We're going to take 2 more questions. And so I'm sorry for the rest of you. We'll be sticking around afterwards. We can kind of, but you and you are it. So the folks standing behind these guys, you're welcome to stand there.
Whatever makes you happy.
Go ahead.
This was touched upon in the parlor, and I don't think it was answered on Bombcast ever. This is mainly to Vinny. You mentioned Max. You said he was 3.5 years old right now.
Yep.
This has been a thing mentioned on different people, different podcasts, different whatever. What do you think about parents, now that parents are gamers and they have kids now, some parents want to introduce kids like the timeline of video games, give them an Atari, give them
Sure, walk them through
history.
Yeah. What do you think about that? And would you do that? And I guess Dan could answer this too, because he's got a kid on the way.
Nice.
Yeah.
No, I think that stuff would not be interesting to my kid. Like when my all right. First, I'll say everything depends on the kid, right? Maybe it would be. I think for an academic reason, maybe when the kid's like 21, writing a paper on video games or something like that. But no, that's for me, right? I would be doing that for me, so that my kid could understand what Mario Brothers is. But my kid, if he or she or both are into games, they should play whatever they're interested in. There's no reason to force somebody to play something because I think this is important. You should know how jumps worked or how that came about. So I don't know. I sometimes think that stuff is in service of trying to force somebody to understand something that you were way into,
sort of trying to mold the child into,
or
make
have
him
this
listen to your music and that sort of stuff.
have this weird you need an appreciation for how we got here. No, you don't.
There's a lot of bad stuff that a kid could pick up along the way that they wouldn't. The world is a better place now. They're better off not knowing how to play Raiders of the Lost Ark for the 2600. They shouldn't have to figure out for themselves oh, you need 2 joysticks to play this fucking piece of shit. I gotta pick the whip. We moved on.
Can I make a counter argument briefly? A brief counter argument.
If it's about Raiders of the Lost Ark for the 2600, I will not hear it.
Okay, okay, that's fair. I think you're right in that you shouldn't force him to go through, or either of your children to go through every game, Atari 2600 and then whatever, right? But growing up for me, one of the reasons I'm a game critic, one of the reasons I like to write about media in general is so my parents were divorced growing up. I saw my father on weekends. And obviously I saw a bunch of other movies, but when I went to my dad's house from the age of 10 to 21, through college when I was home, we'd always watch what he considered a classic movie. And then on yellow legal pads, we'd write out what our opinions were after we saw it and compare notes. That's why I write about media. I'm not saying I'm not saying make Max play only classic games, but I would like you in 10 years to take Vinny back or to take Max back and have him play like Mario 64.
Are you predicting Vinny getting divorced?
No, but I think it's a cute bonding experience.
Yeah,
I would just, in my mind, Vinny with like 13-year-old Max playing Mario 64 is just adorable and a really good bonding moment. And you could be like, listen, in these VR games now, like you just jump by like willing yourself to jump. But back in the day, we held these buttons, and can you see how cool that is?
Yeah, like I think some of that stuff. Some of that stuff might be interesting, but like we don't need to go through a course.
No, yeah, sure,
right?
of
Like
course,
we don't need to. We don't need to like step by step and like forbid a kid to play what is probably a better experience. And like my kid plays on the iPad now, right? And watching a kid who's never held a controller or somebody who's never touched a keyboard or somebody who has no idea even what that stuff is immediately take to a touch screen is pretty amazing. Like it is so damn intuitive, and like we might be cynical up here and be like, touch controls and like this is lame. He's 3.5 years old and can like navigate an OS. Like that's kind of amazing. Like my parents still have trouble with a mouse. Like, and so like he's gonna grow up and be way more adept at stuff that like I just won't have the tactile input. You know, like it'll be a different system. So let him do what he wants. I don't know.
Put on the VR headset and then you are in the arcade playing the old games in VR.
Yeah, like
Max is at college and you're in the world going like, play my games. And I could have been worse. I could have made you speak Klingon.
And like we probably shouldn't fool ourselves. Like those games are going to be re-released for every console for the end of eternity. So he will get it. That stuff jammed down his throat. He doesn't need me.
I feel like a lot of kids will have that moment where they're like, man, my parents aren't buying me any more video games. Oh wait, this entire library of every game from 1999 back is like out there for me to acquire, and now I can play all these Game Boy games because I literally have nothing else to play.
Yeah.
Maybe free to play has changed that to some extent, but you know, like I feel like there are a lot of kids that are getting exposed to older games that way, in the form of just like bootlegging that shit and playing it on a PC just because you can.
Right.
And that's been kind of a weird like vector for people to get exposed to old games.
Yeah, and it's funny with like the kind of push to like remake games. Like yeah, they're gonna get remade, and there'll be like a Mario 64 that comes to a virtual console, or that's a bad use of word, a virtual reality system in the future. So like that stuff will be there forever.
The Virtual Boy. It's coming to Virtual Boy 2.
The Virtual Boy in a virtual reality headset.
I think someone actually took a Virtual Boy emulator and made it Oculus compatible.
That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
It all wraps around, and now you can actually have something resembling the true Virtual Boy experience on like more expensive hardware.
I think the more interesting question will probably be like, when will I stop playing new games and get caught in a track that is like where my like parents just started listening to the same music and stopped moving forward, where my dad like stopped wanting to work on like newer cars because they became too complicated. Like that's like, where am I gonna stop and just be like, man, these point and click adventure games, that's all and like, Dad, come on.
I think that happened 4 years ago.
Yeah. Well, he's only 3.5, so it's about 3.5 ago. But interesting question. We'll see. I'll check back in 18 years.
Thanks. All right, final question. Boy,
okay.
No pressure, huh?
No pressure. It's a weird one. So my girlfriend is a hairdresser, and she was getting demoed this new product for her salon. And the person was super enthusiastic about it. And he also was saying that this stuff is so natural and so amazing, it's actually FDA approved. And personally, I don't trust toothpaste brands, so I brush my teeth with it. And so when I heard that, I was like, you know what, I can save a lot of time in the morning when I'm showering. I'm just washing my hair and then I'm washing my teeth. And then I can get out the door at 6 much quicker. So I wanted to know, have you guys ever done anything really weird to save a little bit of time? Because I feel like a lot of the times when you're saying for E3
I want to dig a little bit deeper into this salesperson.
He was weird. So,
yeah.
Yeah. But
the setup was immaculate.
Because you guys have talked so much about how before you switched to how you do E3 now, you were just rushing everywhere. And so was there like, I have no idea, but what would you have to do to save a little bit of time?
Never eat.
Yeah, never
that was
eat,
one
okay.
thing.
That helps.
Yeah.
Eat well in the shower.
Yeah, you could do that.
Yeah.
You could
Go-gurt.
I do brush my teeth in the shower, but I don't use shampoo or hair products.
I can tell you about a product to speed that up.
I mean, you know, I don't think I've ever put toothpaste in my hair either, but I'm not necessarily opposed to it.
Maybe you should start.
Do you actually brush your teeth?
It's working out for Brad really well. So
That sounds weird.
Why?
Why you do that in front of us?
You're gonna call me weird because I brush my teeth in the shower. Says the man who just dumped several Oreos into fucking queso.
Hey, Benny, how was it?
It wasn't bad.
Hey, guess what?
But I don't think.
Also,
Alex
Dan
is weird for
regularly.
brushing his teeth.
Yeah, guess what? Brushing your teeth in the shower, not bad either.
Dan regularly flosses his teeth at his desk, so I don't know
Oh, wait, why is that weird? Why is that weird at all?
What are you talking about?
Why is that weird? I know Drew calls me out for it, but I've never understood why that's weird.
Wait, you're flossing your teeth at your
What?
desk?
What? What do you want? What do you want?
Just
you get
chunks-
shit stuck in there.
just
You want it
chunks
out.
of
You know there are bathrooms in that office, right?
That's
you know
like
what?
shitting and pissing.
Every
It's
time I
just-
see someone brushing their teeth in the office at work, I think less of them.
Yeah, you don't do that, but if you
yeah,
want
what
to
do
get some chicken out of your teeth, that's fine.
What do you think about people who floss at their goddamn desk?
I mean, that's crazy too.
What the fuck is wrong with that?
Wait, oral hygiene is for the home.
That's incredibly uncomfortable to have chicken between your teeth. You just do a quick thing and then you're done.
You just suck on that for the rest of the day and you go, fun extra chicken.
Oh man,
that's a fine thing to do. I'd recommend it for everyone.
Well, thank you for your question. And that's going to do it for us here. Thank you, PAX Prime 2015. Yeah, we'll be hanging out for a little bit here. So thanks everyone for sticking it out and hanging out with us. And
What is that?
All right. And here comes Minnie the Moocher, our
Bioshock
special guest.
Like I'm worried. It's like, is this a bit? Like, no, right? They're just playing music. Like, oh god, I'm like, oh god, this has all gotten real weird. Cab Calloway is gonna come out. Is Cab Calloway still alive? He is.
Yeah.
Probably.
No, I don't think so.
Fuck, man, come on.
Yeah, he's still hep to the
Don't
job.
break my heart like that at the end of this fucking panel. We were ending on an up note. Cab Calloway, huh? Yeah.
Heidi ho.
Never mind. See you guys later. Thanks for coming.